So, without further ado, let's dive in to this new game. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destiny. So there's going to be a cutscene right on the start. Right off the bat, it's the judge banging his gavel. He's talking. There's the sound is muted. So there's a courtroom. There's a public and there's some jury. There's a bomb with a countdown that goes 20 and coming down. And then somebody starts up from the bomb squad saying there's a bomb. The emergency evacuation. Everybody runs away in the panic. The doors are opening. The bailiffs help people evacuate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flash of light. Big explosion. Somebody blew up the courthouse. Terrorist attempt. Pillars are falling down. Chunks of the ceilings are falling down the floor. The bench are destroyed.
These are dark times, where the law has been reduced to rubble. And it's up to us.
We see a shadow of Apollo Justice
glory.
looking at the rubble. He has some bandages. Meanwhile, Wright Agency.
Yeah.
Early in the day, no
I know
light.
what you mean.
The old
Looks like your
beanie from
target
Phoenix.
finally decided to make a move. Don't you worry. I've got a trusty new partner on board.
We see Athena Sykes opening some sort of art light portal with digital glove.
Done. You bet. Let's do this.
She's been with us for half a year, though I can hardly believe it.
Bailiff salutes her.
Anyway, her power will be our greatest weapon.
She goes up the stairs, she trips on the last steps, and she falls down. She has some robot necklace.
Yeah, it's for this very reason I returned.
So yeah, Phoenix is on the cell phone. I don't know with who.
Time to bring it to an end.
Close the cell phone, suits up. Close the locket with Trucy's picture on it. Put it on his breast pocket. Adjust his hair. Put his new pin on. Leaves the office. To a blinding light. We see him outside with his new look. Now back to Apollo, looking at the debris. He has a bandage over an eye. Both his arms are covered with bandages. Looks at the sky. Wind is blowing. He's wearing a school vest. Looks at the moon for some reason. The moon is full. Alright. So that's the opening intro. Episode 1, Turnabout, Countdown. Now we see somebody holding a bomb with a red light. The best things about bombs is how they erase and destroy without discretion. He's wearing a blue and red goggles. So apparently the guy who was in charge of defusing the bomb made it blow up. Now all I have to do is spin everything on that little girl. So, yeah, like every beginning of an Ace Attorney game, they show us who's the culprit at the beginning. Only exception was with Apollo Justice. So here we have December 17, 9:22 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. So a little bit about the description. Like, I didn't have time to manage the word to describe how the new character looks like. She's basically wearing all yellow. She's red hair. She's wearing her hair on a ponytail with a distinguished styling look. Blue eyes. And yeah, she's wearing a 3-finger glove with the tip of their fingers can be interactive with electronical touchscreen devices. And she was turning on something with her widget, like she has some sort of necklace with a smiley face on it that produce the hard light screen where she interact with her glove. So it's basically like Tony Stark's Iron Man interface, but she needs a glove to touch the screen. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So, this is Athena. Nope, not feeling nervous at all. It's amazing what a girl can get used to. Even a tense atmosphere like this is no biggie. Question mark. You doing okay, Athena? Oh, this is Apollo. Oh, Apollo. Yeah, doing great. Like a little tune great. Like hum a little tune great. Oh yeah? Well, that's good to hear. Although, yeah, he's still injured. He still has his bandages. He's smiling like nothing's happened. I could have sworn I heard your voice crack for a second there. Oof! I'm that transparent, huh? Cracking? No, my voice isn't cracking. Nerves of steel here, I tell you. This is Apollo Justice. He's a fellow lawyer at the office I work for. Apollo is the lead for the defense on this case. But I'm going to be there at the bench with him, doing what I can to help out. I'll do whatever it takes to defend Junie. Speaking of steel, how are you holding up? That explosion really did a number on you. I'm just happy that you're okay, Athena. Although, I can't pretend I have no connection to this case. That's why I'm gonna see to it that Juniper's name is cleared. And I'm sure you feel much the same way. You got that right. I won't rest until Junie is completely cleared of all suspicion. This must be a Junie. Apollo? Tina? Yeah. So, she's wearing... Thank you for doing this to me. Okay, so she's like 14 or 15-year-old. She has braided hair that looks like yarn ball. The hair clips that attach the hair at the end look like leaves. She is wearing a girly summer hat with some sort of like a traditional dress with some sort of shawl that cover her shoulders, tied up with a ribbon. The ornament tying the ribbon together is a pine cone, and the button looks like what's the name? Oak nut? Junie! Juniper Woods. She's coughing. Oh, and she also has sunflower pattern on the top of her hat. When she lower her head to cough, we can see the sunflower now. So I guess like she's all like wood related. Her name is Juniper Woods. And she takes one of her sunflowers from her hat. She stretches it and breathes through it like it's an air mask. She's not allergic. Like she's coughing like she has some allergies, and she grabs the flower to help her breathe. Hey, are you okay? Sorry about that. I always seem to go into coughing fits whenever I get nervous. This kind of thing never happens at home in the forest, though. This is Juniper Woods. She's my dear, dear childhood friend, and she's also our client for this case. The news keep repeating that Junie is the alleged bomber. But that's ridiculous! There's no way Junie would do anything like that. I brought you a little snack, Tina. Just a little something from my garden. Looks like an orange. Hey, thanks. So, is this an orange or a tangerine? It's an orange, my grandma says. That orange is the color of strength and endurance. Oh, I get it. Strength for the trial, right? Judy, you're always so good to me. Geez, look at me, standing here clutching an orange to my chest with tears in my eyes. Well, don't you worry. We'll be so powerful in there they won't know what hit them, right, Apollo? Yeah, that's right. Come what may, this is one trial we just can't lose. He's sweating. And he faints. Apollo! Apollo! He stands up. Blood is seeping through his bandages. One of his wounds must have reopened. All this time he was trying to put on a brave face, but he was really overdoing it. Mr. Justice! Who was that, huh? Oh, the bailiff. The trial's about to start, sir. Please proceed to the courtroom. What? Now? But Apollo is no state to defend. I have to defend Juniper! What are we gonna do? The trial is about to start with or without us. There's only one other option I can think of at a time like this. But even if I called him now, he would never get there in time. Oh, is that the phone call? She called Phoenix, right? Dot. No, wait! There's something else I can do. Apollo? Give me all the evidence for the case. Huh? What are you going to do? Bailiff? Yes, miss? The defense would like to submit a substitution of attorney petition. Tina! You're not seriously? You just concentrate on getting better. I'll defend Junie. All by yourself? Athena, stop for a second and think about what you're saying. Sorry about that. I'm eating a cookie and it's one of my favorite. I just can't help. When I'm being served white chocolate and macadamia nuts cookie in front of me, I can't help. So yeah, basically Athena is just an intern. She's a fresh attorney. She never had a trial before, and she minored in psychology. You've never once taken a class on the loan before, right? No, hey, problema. I can handle it, I think. So she can speak Spanish as well for some reason. But I guess it's really up to you, Junie. Would you be okay with me taking over? Sure. I believe in you, Tina, and that's enough for me. Apollo ... Concentrate by putting a finger between his two eyes, like his thinking pose. You're worried for me, aren't you? To be honest, I'm pretty nervous too. I think my heart might just burst out of my chest. But you are in no shape to stand at the bench now. So you'll just have to leave it to me. Still sweating. Apollo ... Alright. I can see your mind's made up anyway. I hate it that I can't be there, but I know you'll give your utmost to defend Juniper. You bet I will. Rest assured of that. My name is Athena Sykes. Cykes. I'm still just a newbie, but I'm a lawyer. This is only the second time I've taken the lead in the defense case. Oh. It'll be the first time I stand up there alone, though. But I have to do this, and I'm definitely not about to let anything bad happen to Judy. Okay. December 17th, 9:46 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 5. The doors are opening. Court is now in session. Day 1. All rise. Now we see the judge. A new decor, a new background. It's all black. Court is now in session for the trial of Juniper Woods. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Okay, now I have a better look at her character. So yeah, she's wearing a yellow vest, white shirt, turquoise necktie loosened up with a turquoise piece of jewelry that's shaped like a smiley face. That's her widget. She's having 2 crescent moon yellow earrings on each ear. Her hair are all down tight with a singular strand of turquoise ribbon. Yeah, her hair are red, like brownish red. Eyes blue. And yeah, her right hand has the three-finger glove. And yeah, we cannot see it well because her jacket has the same color as her pin on her lapel. And now we have... This looks like Payne, but he's wearing a wig. He has sunglasses, but he's wearing a wig that makes it look like there's a big giant cowlick. So let's give him his voice, but he's wearing different clothes. Like it's a black vest on white shirt with red necktie. He looks like a hitman. The prosecution is also ready, Your Honor. And what is the meaning of this? I was under the impression that Mr. Red Monkey would be my opponent today.
Yes, well, a substitution of attorney petition was submitted just a few moments ago. Due to the explosion in the courthouse yesterday, Mr. Justice is unable to continue.
I see. Not at all surprised he used that as an excuse to run away. With me as an adversary, who wouldn't want to feign illness in order to escape? What? The nerve of that guy! I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. Well, I would if I wasn't so nervous. Ah! This arrogant jerk! Widget, you arrogant jerk! No! Widget! Is my hearing getting worse? I could have sworn I heard the defense say something just now. No! You didn't hear anything at all, especially not from me.
How odd, I could have sworn I also heard something.
Oh, that would be my indispensable partner, Widget. He sometimes blurts out what I'm thinking. Well then, if that's the case, then it's a clear contradiction to what you just stated. A contradiction? You just stated that you said nothing! However, if that device of yours said that what you're thinking, then you indeed said I was, what was it? Elegance at work? Actually, it was arrogant jerk. Her face when she fails is like weird. She's making an ugly face, but she's like, huh? Like if I ever make the Home Improvement noise, this is the face that she's gonna make. Da-da-down, da-down, down, da-down, down, da-down, down. At any rate, what does it matter if it's a red monkey or a yellow monkey facing me? No fresh out of law school rookie can defend this witness.
Mr. Payne, I believe that's enough. Let us get back to the case.
Of course, Your Honor. I'm more than ready to show this little girl why they call me the rookie humiliator. Oh. So, this is probably not the same Payne. This is probably not Winston Payne. This is probably a relative that looks exactly like him, because Winston Payne is known as the Rookie Killer. Him is only the Humiliator. I knew it! He really is an arrogant jerk. Arrogant jerk.
Miss Psych, if you continue to insult the prosecution, I will remove you from this court.
I'm very sorry. I was just a knee-jerk reaction.
Now then, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, if you please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now then. The incident occurred yesterday at this very courthouse in courtroom number 4. At that time, the trial for a certain bombing was being held in courtroom number 4.
Oh yes, I was presiding over that trial as well. And Mr. Justice was there as the lawyer for the defense.
A bomb that was being presented as evidence suddenly went off during the trial. It was a terrible incident, and courtroom number 4 was completely destroyed. Fortunately, we were able to start evacuation procedures before the explosion occurred. Just a few seconds more and it would have turned into a horrific loss of human life.
But there was in fact one death, was there not?
That is correct, Your Honor. When courtroom number 4 was examined after the blast, the body of Detective Candace Arm was discovered. So now we see mid-30, maybe, mid-20s, early 30 woman lying on the floor. She has a head injury. There's blood trickling from the back of her head, down her neck, up through her breast, staining her shirt. And she's wearing, short black hair, silver ring earrings, no other pieces of jewelry, no makeup, has a mole next to her nose on the left side. But it's basically black eyes, black hair, black and white. She looks like an agent. She was to take the stand as a witness later in the trial.
I suppose she wasn't able to evacuate in time. What a terrible tragedy. I must admit, I stumbled at least 10 times myself before I was able to escape.
Maybe the court should see about getting you even shorter robes. The victim's body was found near the entrance to the courtroom. I suspect she stayed until the very end to help guide the others out safely. Your Honor, allow me to submit as evidence the victim's autopsy report and details about the bomb. Arm's autopsy report added to the court record. Cause of death, trauma to back of the head caused by impact with flat object. Time of death between 8 and 11 a.m. 3-hour window. They cannot be more precise than that. Stuffed animal bomb added to the court record. The time bomb that destroyed the courtroom, it was hidden inside a stuffed animal when it was detonated. It looks like the plushie of a devil elephant holding a giant paintbrush with his trunk with a piece of paper that says guilty. And he's wearing some sort of black robe that can zip from the front. And he has some sort of tail that doesn't match the rest of the color. It looks like it's not an elephant tail. It looks like more like a cow tail or something like that. Okay, I know how this works. All evidence for the trial is filed in the court record. When I want to check something out, I just use R1, like so. So let's check the details of the autopsy. It's just the picture. So we see her hand, it's half open, but there's nothing in her hand. The hands are clean. Only stain is from her shirt, but it appears that it came from the inside of the shirt and not from the top, judging how the stain is made. It's like it went down, trickled underneath her shirt, and it stained it from the inside. Like the blood trickled down her skin. And we cannot examine the plushie. Oh, Apollo Justice 23. So it's 2 years after. It's 2 years after. It's 2 years after Apollo Justice. Juniper Woods, age 18. She's only 18 years old. This is Gaspard Payne, the prosecuting attorney. He just seemed to exude unpleasantness. 55. And then we have Candace Arm, age 27. Okay, I was correct. The detective was heading up the investigation into a bombing accident. Okay. I'd better take a peek later. No, I did. I took a peek now.
Now then, please call the accused to the witness stand.
Juniper, ...
Defendant, are you feeling all right? You're looking a bit pale.
I'm so sorry. I was feeling a bit weak when I first arrived here at the courthouse. But I'm all right. She took a puff out of her sunflower. So when you hear that noise, she takes a puff out of her sunflower on her hat. Stretch, and then put it back. Junie's really giving it her all. I'd better make sure I do the same. If we could please proceed. Your name and occupation, defendant. Juniper Woods. I'm a high school student. Miss Woods, can you confirm you were in the courthouse of the day in question? Yes, I came to know Apollo Justice through my friend Tina. And so, I was there yesterday to watch his trial and lend my support. She's yanking on her braids and her eyes are watering down. She's not crying, but the eyes are watery. Something's wrong. Junie's really scared. Did you know I'm also known as the defendant humiliator? It looks like I have yet another chance to show everyone how I earned that moniker. Does his arrogance know no bounds? I have to protect Junie no matter what. Hey, you arrogant Prosecutor Payne. She's having a nice, stylish position as she points at the prosecution. What is it? Do you want me to demonstrate why I'm also known as the Rookie Humiliator instead? Deep breaths, Atina. Don't let him get to you. Prosecutor Payne, Junie is telling the truth. Mr. Justice also backed up her claim when we saw him in the defendant lobby. And Junie, he said that he was glad to get the lotus root you gave him too. He was! My grandma said lotus root is good for your eyes. She says they can even help you see into the future. They can? Then that's the perfect present for a lawyer. And if that's true, I guess he must not have eaten them.
A sweet, meek girl like this blowing a courtroom to bits? I must say it's very hard to believe.
Objection!
Now, Your Honor, don't let her seemingly innocent appearance fool you. The defendant had a motive for committing this crime. That's not true! I don't have any kind of motive! Sorry, I need to blow my nose. Okay, I'm back. And I didn't even know the lady was killed! I admit the investigation didn't turn up any connection between the victim and the defendant. However, that doesn't matter. The only thing that does is that her objective was the destruction of courtroom number 4 itself. Rubble. Hey! What's that supposed to mean? Why in the world would Miss Wood want to do that? And now the widget turned red. So I think that her mini computer, her little assistant, is emulating. She can pick up on the feelings of the person nearby and emulate them. So when Athena is angry, the jewelry will appear angry as well, and it changed color too. Hmm. That's a very good question coming from a novice such as yourself. But first, a question for the defendant. Have you ever been brought up on false charges? What? Why, yes I have. And did that experience cause you to harbor a grudge against the court system?
Objection!
Now wait just 1 minute. Is that kind of thing that was a motive for blowing things up? Then every one of our clients would turn into bombers.
That's a valid point. We couldn't have a single courthouse left standing in the land.
I can see the accused isn't the only one who might bear resentment against the courts. But Miss Wood is the only person who could have committed this crime. Why? Because we have found some decisive evidence that proves the defendant's guilt. Decisive, huh? I believe it when I'll see it. It involves a very unique aspect of the bomb itself, Your Honor.
And what exactly was so unique about it?
Why don't we have Miss Syke answer that question? Me? I noticed that you appear to be very nervous, and well, gentleman that I am, I would like to offer you the chance to gain some confidence with such an easy question. Could he be any more condescending? Really, what a thoroughly unpleasant man. Unpleasant man. Shut up, widget! L is for loser. What did it just say? Nothing, not a single thing. Now, let's see. What was I supposed to do at a time like this? Oh, I know. The court record. The information I need is somewhere in the court record.
Alright, Miss Syke, let's hear your answer. What was unique about the bomb that blew up the courtroom? Was it because...
It's in Apollo's briefcase, it's in the judge's pocket, or it's inside a stuffed animal. Mr. Prain, what kind of simpleton do you take me for? It was stuffed inside a stuffed animal. Its evil intention covered up by a cute exterior. Very good. Have a cookie. The bomb that went off in the courtroom was indeed hidden inside a stuffed animal. There! How would you like that? Not bad, huh? Okay, so now when she's happy, the widget turns green with a big smile. I am fine, just like I said from the start. I can do this.
Yes, as I recall, the bomb was inside a stuffed animal the whole time. I never even got to take a look at it. But what connection does this impish elephant have with the defendant?
The answer to that question lies in another piece of evidence, which I have here. So we have the tail. It's a torn off tail.
And what, pray tell, is this? It appears to be a little singed.
It's a tail, Your Honor, the tail of a poor victim of the explosion.
This is incredible. Are you saying it's Detective's arm's tail?
Your Honor is so very close. But no, it belongs to this stuffed animal. It's called the Phony Fanty. A rather unpleasant name, if you ask me.
He's the mascot for a campaign to eliminate false evidence and false charges, is he not?
Exactly. His motto is, phony evidence is just trunked up. That's so wrong on so many levels. The Phony Fanty's tail is made of vinyl cloth. And we found something very interesting on its surface. The defendant's fingerprints. What? The Phony Fanty provided the prosecution with all the evidence we needed. It clearly proves that the accused handled the bomb. Eep! She yanked on her braids and they stretched and bumped her eyes, both of them at the same time. Rubble. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would Junie's fingerprints be on it?
That does appear to be pretty irrefutable evidence. The court accepted into evidence.
Phony fancy tale added to the court record. A piece of the stuffed animal that the bomb was inserted into. The defendant's fingerprints were found on it.
Miss Woods, do you have an explanation for this?
I don't understand. How about you, Miss Sykes? Do you have any plausible explanation to refute this decisive piece of evidence? Well, I can't do it. I can't think of a single thing. She's swinging beads. But I'd better come up with something for Judy's sake. If you can't produce an answer, we can always go straight to the ruling if you prefer. Heck no! I have to say something fast! She's angry. Oh no! I can't get my voice to work! Why now, of all times? She's having a blackout, the widget turns black, and her eyes turn blank for some reason. She seems to have been experiencing some sort of trauma. Yeah, we see some images of her when she was young. She has a blood cover on her face. I thought I overcame this already. Maybe I'm still not ready to stand in court. A cutscene. She clutched her fist. We see through her eyes, trickle of blood on the floor. We see her as a young, she splattered in blood. She turns back, there's a blade, a katana, covered in blood. There's a blood all over the floor. And we see in court, she tried to testify. Everybody's face covered with black stuff. The judge, the defendant, the prosecution. She tried to say something, but she cries. Nobody believes her. Then the judge...
As you can see, there is no room for debate.
Winston? No, Gaspin.
Objection!
Oh, that's Phoenix.
Why, it's you.
The judge. Phoenix stands alone. Sorry it took me so long to get there, Athena. Apollo explained the whole thing to me over the phone. He asked me to come help you out in this place. Thanks for coming. I hate to admit it, but I was having a real rough time on my own. Oh, I don't know. I think you were doing just fine, all things considered. And you hung in there, giving me enough time to get here. Now, let's turn things around. Yeah, you got it, boss.
Ho ho ho! Look who showed up out of the blue. If it isn't Mr. Phoenix Wright, you always manage to surprise me.
Your Honor, Mr. Payne has called for an early ruling. But I believe there are still many things that need to be deliberated. How did Miss Wood's fingerprints wind up on the stuffed animal tail? How was the bomb even detonated? Until these questions are answered, I assert it's impossible for a fair ruling to be made.
You are absolutely right. Let us continue from where we left off. I assume you have no objection, Mr. Payne?
None at all, Your Honor. Miss Woods really looked like she's having a hard time. Junie's really struggling, Mr. Wright. I get the sense she's afraid of the courtroom itself. Because of yesterday? Yeah, it was understandably very traumatic for her. Poor thing. And here she is, back at the courthouse again, being so brave. I would like to make a request, Your Honor. If at all possible, I would like to have Miss Woods rest in the lobby.
Given the defendant's condition, very well, I grant special permission.
You go get some rest, Judy, and leave the rest to us. Okay, thank you. Sorry about this. Then she leaves. Phoenix Wright. I've been looking forward to meeting you. It's been a while, Mr. Payne. You're more clueless than I heard. I do believe you mean, how do you do? For I am Gaspard Payne. I am the younger brother of your long-standing rival, Winston Payne. What? Long-standing rival? When were we ever rivals that are long-standing? You'll see, Mr. Wright. I will cleanse Winston of the disgrace he met with you at your hands. Looks like this royal pain is going to be as thoroughly unpleasant as the other. Your Honor, the prosecution would now like to call a decisive witness to the stand. This witness must testify as to how the accused detonated the bomb in the courtroom.
Very well. Please call your witness, Mr. Payne.
Oh, it's the bomb squad guy. So yeah, he's wearing a tactical vest with police. He has some sort of screen with a keyboard on his left forearm. He's typing on it, and right now there's a visor covering the whole of his face except for his mouth. Question mark, ... Witness, your name and occupation, please.
Witness?
Name, detonate. Occupation, bomb disposal specialist.
Oh my, what a strange robotic voice you have.
Speech synthesis via typing. It is the same as me talking. I'm gonna give him a Stephen Hawking's voice if I can. He sounds exactly like a robot.
Can't you speak to a normal matter?
I can. He can.
But I do not like to speak. Speaking is inefficient. Energy expenditure. Speaking superior to typing. Understand?
Okay, so it takes too much energy to talk. It's easier for him to type.
What an odd witness.
Mr. Tonate was in charge of the bomb for that trial and was there when it went off.
Being a bomb squad specialist, do you have any relation to the victim?
Negative. I first met the girl while on this job. Many people are employed by the police. I know only a fraction of them. However, I was shocked when I first discovered the body of the victim.
Shocked?
I was the first one on the scene after the explosion. I went there to ensure safety, but I ended up discovering a dead body.
So he was the first to discover the body, was he? He is here to testify about the circumstances surrounding the moment of the explosion.
Very well, the court will hear Mr. Toadate's testimony. But at the very least, show this court some respect and remove that face guard, witness.
Now we see his vision goggles, like left red lens, right blue lens. It looks like 3D goggles, but on night vision goggles at the same time. When the bomb went off.
The bomb was originally disarmed by me when transported here as evidence. Bomb name HH-3000, operated by timer or with a remote. I was watching from the gallery when I suddenly became alarmed. I saw the bomb timer was counting down.
Now his head move around and the goggles are zooming in and out. That's what the sound is. So he has a neutral face all this time, like he doesn't have any expression when he speaks. So even though the bomb was supposed to be disarmed, it somehow got switched on?
Precisely. Activating the timer is very simple. 1. Connect wires. 2. Switch on timer. A monkey could do it. I am sure even you would be able to, Mr. Wright.
Oh, and now he makes a little a shitty smirk. shitty smirk up his face and he narrows his eyes. I guess this makes you the blue monkey in this barrel of fun, boss. I would now like to begin my cross-examination, huh? What's this?
Mr. Toadate, what is that?
It looks like a bomb with three. There's a red light on it and it's blinking, and there's three colored wires: blue, yellow, and red.
HH-3000, aka a bomb.
Why do you have that? Bailiff! No weapons in the courtroom! We've been over this! A bomb?
Great googly moogly!
Yeah! Everybody's hiding.
Mr. Toadate, I demand that you disarm it this instant!
Disassembly complete. Okay, so he took it, and there, three tools in his hands, and he was like blah 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 blah. So he just disarmed the bomb. So that was the sound of disarming a bomb. And now he used his real voice. Now he put his speaker now.
5.3 seconds. 0.2 seconds short of my personal best.
Are you trying to give me a heart attack? I'm not exactly a spring chicken, you know.
This is an exact replica of the HH-3000.
And reassemble it.
It is used to practice disarming bombs. Disarm equals success. Explosion equals failure.
An exact replica of the bomb that exploded, is it? So that's what it looked like.
I submitted a photograph of the real bomb taken just before the trial.
Okay, so now we have a time code. So it's December 16, 9:56 a.m. We have the plushie. The timer has a crack screen, but yeah, it does look similar. Fenty still had his tail on. Can we remove? No, we cannot remove the UI.
Dimension 10 inches height by 10 inches wide by 10 inches deep. Weight 12 pounds. A perfect replication.
Your bomb does appear to be a very good copy indeed.
Yes, however, I could not replicate the detonation mechanism. It has a very puzzling wiring setup. It is regrettable I could not replicate it.
Witness, that's enough. There's no need to replicate anything here.
HH-3000 bomb updated in the court record. It was hidden inside a stuffed animal, can be detonated remotely. Okay, so now we can examine... I can examine this bomb. Oh, there's only a picture. Okay, so now we have the dimension 10 by 10 by 10. Case 16 inches alloy plating. Not even an inch. It says 0058.
And now if the defense would begin their cross-examination, Where has Mr. Syke gone to?
She's under the desk. Athena, ... Athena, you can come out now. Okay, Miss Wright. Okay, Mr. Wright, let's get to work. I guess you were pretty scared, huh? What? I don't know what you're talking about. She was about to bolt. Hey, put a sock in it, widget. As transparent as ever. Now, let's see. Where were we? We were at the cross-examination. Oh, cross-examination, of course. She seems disoriented. I wonder if she's alright. Maybe I should ask Athena if she remembers how to cross-examine to help her focus. I'd better ask. Nah, she'll be fine. We don't need a tutorial on cross-examining. This is not our first rodeo. Nah, no need for that right now. She'll be fine. I'll do everything I can to help. If you can't find any contradiction, and you flub out too often, don't be afraid to ask me for help. Press triangle when the option to consult with me appears. Okay, so there's the option of consulting, which is a new feature in this game and the next, but not in Apollo Justice. I'll let you know where I think the suspicious statement is. Sounds good. I'll be counting on you if I get in the bind. Alright, it's cross-examination time. Cross-examination. Oh, it's Phoenix versus Pain. When the bomb went off.
The bomb was originally disarmed by me, then transported here as evidence.
Hold it!
You say that you disarmed the bomb, but are you really sure it was disarmed?
Absolutely, I can disarm anything. In a flash.
Oh. No, that was his voice. In a flash! That looks more like dismantle than disarm to me. Oh, pardon me. Reassemble. Let's see, is there any chance you could have forgotten to disarm the bomb?
Impossible. I do not make rudimentary mistakes like that.
They say to err is human. Although the jury's still out on this guy. If you must know, Mr. Wright, according to the court's own records, the fact that the bomb had indeed been disarmed was officially confirmed. I guess I can't rule out the possibility that he forgot to disarm it. Could you talk about the bomb in a little more detail for the court, Mr. Tonate?
Certainly. Bomb name HH3000, operated by timer or with a remote.
Hold it!
What was the approximate size and weight of the bomb?
Dimensions 10 inches height by 10 inches high by 10 inches deep. Weight 12 pounds. This information is also written on the photograph.
Oh yes, here it is on the back. According to this, the case is made out of alloy plating 5/16 of an inch thick. That certainly sounds like one thick and very heavy bit of metal.
I bet if I drop that thing on your foot, you'll be hopping. If you drop that guy anywhere, I'd be hopping for the nearest exit.
Very well. I believe the court has heard enough of the bomb itself. So, Mr. Tonate, you were keeping an eye on the bomb? What were you watching from? Where were you watching from?
I was watching from the gallery when I suddenly became alarmed.
Hold it!
Why were you in the gallery?
My duties has been over for the moment, but I wanted to keep watch. Even though the bomb was disarmed, you can never be too careful. Explosive devices are very dangerous things.
How admirably responsible of you. A model to be emulated.
I practice disarming bombs every day.
Like so. I practice assembling them too. The disarming part I get, but assembling them? Well, I'll have you know that I practice presenting evidence every day myself.
I see, but do you ever practice having evidence presented to you?
Presented to me? What? No, I...
Then you cannot very well call yourself a professional yet, can you?
That does it! I'm gonna start practicing having evidence presented to me every day! And you better drink some coffee, boss! We're gonna be pulling an all-nighter! I don't think that will be necessary. Or worth either of our time.
So, Mr. Tonate, what did you witness from the gallery?
I saw that the bomb's timer was counting down.
Hold it!
You saw it counting down? clearly with your own eyes? It's hard. I would hardly think a timer as small as the one on this bomb could be seen from the gallery.
These goggles help me see very small things clearly from very far away. I can't even see what you had for breakfast by looking at your thigh.
Why do I suddenly feel like a bug under a magnifying glass? I guess it's possible he saw the timer if he was wearing those goggles. I'm not sure. There's something that just doesn't seem right with me. I don't think I follow. The bomb was completely hidden inside the stuffed animal. Unless he has X-ray vision, he couldn't see the timer. So well concealed, in fact, that it didn't even look like a bomb at all. So you're trying to find testimony that conflicts with the evidence, right? That's right. Listening carefully to Mr. Toad's testimony is just the first step. After that, it's a matter of taking a look at any evidence that seems relevant. Remember that you'll open the court record when you go to present R1 something. If you find evidence that conflicts with the testimony, present triangle it. Let's see. This testimony is about when the bomb went off. So I think the state it was in at the time would be pretty important. A bomb that didn't look like a bomb because it was inside a stuffed animal, huh? Okay, so they gave us away the contradiction on this one.
Objection!
So, you say you saw the bomb's countdown. Is that right?
Of course, I clearly saw it counting down to 0.
And I say that you are clearly lying.
What are you talking about?
There is no way you could have seen the bomb's timer. After all, the bomb was concealed inside a stuffed animal. Exclamation mark. Mr. Toadate, how can you claim to know the bomb was about to go off when you couldn't even see the timer?
But that says irregular from Jump 91 logo.
What? No!
That does seem like a glaring inconsistency indeed. Witness, how do you explain this?
Well, I...
Beading sweat on the visor. Oh, that was great, Mr. Wright! You found a contradiction right off the bat! Always remember, Athena, when you find an inconsistency in the witness testimony, there is always a reason behind it. It could be a lie, a hidden meaning, a secret, whatever it is, it's up to us to dig it out. And pointing out every contradiction we find is the best way to do it, right, boss? Now, the question is, what can we dig out of Mr. Tonate?
Well, let me see. No, there must be some mistake. Oh, yes, of course, I remember now. The sound, I knew because of the sound.
Sound? What sound?
When the timer of this type of bomb is switched on, it beeps softly. Beep, beep, beep. It is the sound of the bomb counting down.
A beeping noise, you say? I suppose it would be possible to notice that even if the bomb inside the stuffed animal.
I simply made a mistake. My bad.
Objection!
How in the world did you hear such a tiny little sound all the way from the gallery?
Listening for the sound of a bomb's timer is an integral part of my work. I constantly undergo training so that I will never miss it.
I hardly think training will help you hear something so soft from so far away. What now?
Are you making light of the fine science of disarming bombs? It is a solemn mission that I put my life on the line to perform. What kind of specialist would I be if I could not hear a bomb's timer?
Disassemble? It's not like I'm disassembling a toaster, you know. Now he's just showing off. Reassemble?
You keep asserting that the sound was too tiny to hear, but the only tiny thing here is your skill as a lawyer. Big and mistrustful is not an attractive quality, you know.
And you're just overflowing with attractive qualities, are you?
Or perhaps you have some sort of proof that Mr. Tony did not hear the sound.
Well, no, but it still seems totally suspect. But it's going to be really hard to prove that he didn't hear something.
If I have this correct, the prosecution's argument is that someone reactivated the bomb before it was brought into the courtroom. What I don't understand, Mr. Payne, is why you believe that this person to be Miss Woods.
Oh, that's simple, Your Honor. Mr. Tony happened to be there when it happened. He was there when the defendant rearmed the bomb.
What's this now?
It happened before the trial started. It was when Detective Arm and I were transporting the bomb.
Flashback.
We brought the bomb to the lobby for the defense. Bomb equal evidence. The lawyer wanted to see it before the start of the trial.
Looking for a chance to get at the bomb, Miss Woods was already there in that lobby. Her goal was surely to rearm the bomb and steal the remote switch.
The remote switch?
Yes, the switch that controls the bomb remotely. Duh. It has been missing ever since the incident.
Missing remote switch added to the court record. The switch that started the time bomb countdown. It was stolen just before the blast and is now missing.
I am partially to blame. I left the bomb and remote on top of the transport case, and they were rearmed and stolen while I was talking with the lawyer.
The defendant then used the remote from inside the courtroom to start the timer.
Objection!
How can you assert so unequivocally that the bomb was rearmed in the lobby?
Objection!
The bomb was safely secure in the transport case. The only time it was outside the case was in that lobby. Therefore, that was the one and only opportunity anyone had to meddle with it.
Someone other than Mr. Tony could have opened the case and taken the bomb out.
Impossible. The transport case is assigned exclusively to me. Do you see this number there?
There's L10015R with a lock.
That is my identification number. And I have the only key that can open the case.
Bomb transport case added to court record. The case, Tonate and Detective Arm transport the bomb in. Tonate has the key. Nevertheless, Mr. Payne's assertion is nothing more than conjecture. You have no proof that it was Miss Woods who stole the remote switch.
And by the same token, you have no proof that it wasn't her. But what I do have is a piece of evidence that proves the defendant handled the bomb.
Ah, the tail.
5 minutes, 24 seconds, 2.3 deciseconds. The defense advantage lasted a mere 5 minutes.
Talk about a rotten hand. As long as they have her fingerprints as their trump card, I'm at a big disadvantage.
It appears we will have to hear from the defendant herself once more.
I wholeheartedly agree, Your Honor. I would like to recall Miss Wood to the stand.
I trust you have no objection, Mr. Wright?
I'm worried about her condition, but we do need her testimony. On the other hand, I'm not sure I want to make Athena mad. Athena. I can read your feelings. I can read your feelings, you know, boss! Exclamation mark. Guess there's no hiding from her, huh? Don't worry, I know we need her testimony. But if anybody picks on her again, they'll pay. Guess she's already at anger level 1.
Don't worry, I'll stop the proceedings before I let anything bad happen to her. The defense has no objection, Your Honor.
In that case, I will take my leave. But before I do, there is just one more thing. Mr. Wright, is it?
Me? Yeah?
Dismantling bombs is my job. Dismantling the case is yours. Do you think you can handle it? I look forward to seeing you try.
This guy is hiding something. I just know it.
Now, if you will excuse me.
Then he leaves.
Bailiff, please go up to the lobby and bring back the defendant.
She's still yanking at her braids.
Junie! Hi, Tina!
She looks even worse off than before.
Don't worry, Junie. We're here for you. Thanks, Tina. And I'll do my best, too.
You blew up the courtroom because you bear resentment against the courts, correct?
No, of course not.
What's that you say? I can barely hear you.
I haven't done anything wrong. This prosecutor's scary.
Objection!
What an impudent little girl. Stop acting innocent and tell the truth. This is getting ugly. You rearmed the bomb because you wanted to blow up the courthouse. Admit it. That's why you went to the lobby where Mr. Justice was, and is that right? Boink. Mr. Wright, can I go give that prosecutor a smack? What? Of course not. Do we have to review Courtroom Matters 101 again? You can't let a creep like that bully innocent girls like this off so easily. I haven't forgotten about how he treated you. Don't worry about me. Just help Junie. Her heart's crying out. She's so scared, so very scared. Looks like Atina's picking something up with her heightened sense of hearing. And it sounds like this time it's the voice of Miss Wood's heart. Okay, so while Apollo Justice has acute vision, Atina has acute hearing. She can tell the mood of her client just by listening to the heartbeat. Don't deny it! You stole the remote switch and used it in the courtroom, didn't you?
Objection!
Your Honor, please put a stop to this. Mr. Payne is badgering the defendant.
Yes, Miss Wood does seem quite frightened. Mr. Payne, I ask that you behave more like a gentleman.
Ah, but oh, you know, Your Honor, there is no more gentleman in this world than I. Oh, as if a gentleman, or even a gentleman, would behave like he does. Don't let that rude ruffian win.
Tina!
How dare you call a gentleman such as I a rude ruffian? I'll have you know I attend a manners class every Saturday. I'm more than just a mere gentleman, I'm a genteel man. Not when you're terrorizing a young lady or not. I'll demand my money back from that manners class if I were you. I should probably be the adult here and stop the two of them, but,
Mr. Payne, that will be enough.
Certainly, Your Honor. No further question. Let's move on to the defendant's testimony. Miss Woods, please share with the court what you were doing when the bomb went off. Woods, ... Witness testimony. When the bomb went off.
Well, that day, I was watching from the gallery. Did you get that stenograph? 2 coughs.
Yes, 2 coughs. Cough, cough.
The bomb went off, cough, cough, and rubble started falling. It fell on top of me, cough, cough. Did you get all that?
Number 1. Junie's clearly in pain being forced to recall the bombing like this. She can't even get her words out.
This isn't going to work, so what now? Hey, wait a minute. Even if she can't vocalize what she wants to say, we can listen to what's inside her heart. Yes, now's the perfect time to use Athena's power. You can hear it, can you, Athena? The cries of Miss Wood's heart. Yes, and they sound incredibly strained. She's so scared, I think she could collapse at any second. She's sweating. Athena has a unique ability, you see. With her finely tuned sense of hearing, she can hear the words of a witness's heart. In essence, she can sense how a person is really feeling from the tone of their voice. Guess it's all up to Athena and her special ability now. Athena, I want you to use the analytical psychology you studied and listen to the testimony of Miss Wood's heart. Okay, boss, I'll give it a go. After all, this is the whole reason I put all that effort into studying analytical psychology. Off gets! Let's do this! Now, this is German. She turns on the widget. The screen comes out. So, your holographic thingamabob can show us how Miss Woods is feeling, right? In a nutshell, yes. The emotion and images that I picked up on just now while listening to her testimony, I can enter all of that into widget and use the mood matrix to analyze them. So basically the passcode is drawing a smiley face on the screen. 2 eyes, dot dot, and then a swipe to make the smile. These mood markers here reflects fluctuation in Junie's emotion. So there's a green smile, blue pain, red anger, and yellow shock. So there's probably going to be a contradiction between what she says and what she feels. And this is purely visual. So for those who are non-seeing, you're going to have to use story mode to get through that, to see what they're talking about. The mood markers reflect fluctuation in Junie's emotion. So this is happy. When she feels happy or is enjoying the memory, the happy marker will light up. This is the anger. When she feels angry or frustrated, the angry marker will react. This is the sad. When she feels sadness or is frightened by a memory, the sad marker will blink. This is the shock. And when she feels surprised or confused, the surprise marker will let us know. So, with your special ability in Widget's Mood Matrix program, you can track how Miss Wood is feeling as she testifies. Talk about the wonders of technology. Yep, now let's give it a shot. I'm picking up on some kind of discord or noise in Junie's heart. Noise level 100%. See there? This is what the noise looks like in the Mood Matrix. It's a result of inconsistencies between her testimony and her feelings. If we can pinpoint these inconsistencies, the noise level should drop. Okay, it's time to listen to Miss Wood's true testimony then. Loading. That day, cough. I was watching from the gallery, cough cough. The bomb went off, cough. Now this is the surprise is acting up. Cough and rubble started falling. It fell on top of me, cough cough. So now there's a major reaction on the surprise and a small reaction on the happy. So this is where the inconsistency comes from. I think I have a good grasp on Junie's emotional state now. This power of Tina's is incredible. And I'm seeing an unexpected emotion that's inconsistent with the content of her testimony. What? Already? Well, yeah. It fell on top of me, cough cough. Look at this! When she says it fell on top of me, the happy marker is reacting. Well, look at that. That is odd. There must be a reason for this contradictory emotion. We just need to do some digging. When you find an unexpected emotion, you'll first need to pinpoint L on it, and then select the unexpected emotion or reaction from the 4 mood marker with X. So press the pinpoint button L1. And I have to... Is this it?
Got it!
I have no idea if I was on it or not. Widget is registering joy when Miss Woods recalls the rubble falling on her. There must be a reason for this unexpected emotion. Miss Woods, as the rubble was falling, there was also something that made you feel happy. What? Mr. Wright, the feeling of happiness is spreading throughout Junie's heart. Keep going on this point and I bet Junie will start to calm down. Great, let's hear what she has to say.
Just as I was about to escape the courtroom, the bomb went off. I was so startled, I tripped. And then rubble started falling on top of me. I really thought I was done for. But just then...
Now she's knitting something with hearts.
Apollo came and rescued me.
Apollo?
He used his own body to shield me from the rubble.
So that's when he sustained those injuries. How do you feel, Junie? Did talking about Apollo give you some courage?
Yes, Apollo is just like the sun, strong and bright and warm. Just talking about him makes me feel like a leaf undergoing photosynthesis.
And see, your coughing stopped all of a sudden.
You're right! Thank you, Tina!
Noise level 50%. Oh. Looks like we were able to draw out some new testimony. Hey, pretty neat, huh? But there's still some noise left, meaning there must be still some discord in Junie's heart. I guess we'll have to keep going then. Let me put this new information and update the mood matrix, and we'll be good to go. Remember what to do, right? When I found unexpected emotion, I should first pinpoint with L1. That's right, and then you select it from the mood markers with X. If we can find the reason for the discord in her heart, then we should be able to draw even more new testimony out. Info update. I tried to run, but it was too slow. I was too slow. Shock. Before I could get away, the bomb went off. I was so startled I tripped, then rubble started falling on me. I thought I was done for. Info update. Then Apollo came and rescued me, so now I have strong surprise, strong happy, and small sad. Pinpoint. Okay, now I can see now. Happy, sad, surprise, angry. Okay, now I can see the thing.
Got it!
Okay, it's with the L pad. You were happy when Mr. Justice rescued you, weren't you?
Yes, I was really happy.
But was there also something you felt sad about at the same time?
Sad?
The reason I ask is, when you were describing how you were rescued, we sensed a little sadness too.
Oh! I think it's probably because of Bum Rep Riney.
Bum Rap Riney? Well, what do you know? Something new.
That's right. I brought my stuffed animal, Bum Rep Riney, to watch the trial with me. Bum Rep Riney and Phony Fanty are brothers.
Who knew that the legal world could inspire the whole line of merchandise?
I had Bum Rep Riney with me while I was watching the trial, but it wasn't until Apollo saved me that I realized I lost him as I was running away. My poor Riney, a victim of that terrible bomb! Oh, I know. You can see what he looks like in this poster.
Oh! No more Bum Rap. So basically, Bum Rap Riney is a rhinoceros. It says it's his brother, but it's like it's a blue rhinoceros instead of a red elephant. So the elephant represents false charges, and the rhinoceros represent bum raps. There's a spotlight shining on him. He's crying his tears out. He's wearing shackles, his handcuffs, and lo and behold, his tail is not a rhinoceros tail, but is of the same design as Fanty. So what they assumed was the tail of the elephant was in fact the tail of the rhinoceros, and this is why the fingerprints were on it.
It's for the campaign to eradicate fake evidence and false charges.
Phony Fenty and bum rap Rhiny, huh? Nothing against the campaign, but why an elephant and a rhinoceros? Mr. Wright, I don't sense any discord in Junie's heart anymore. Noise level 0%. So I guess that means we managed to draw out all of her testimony. That's right! I'll just make an update with the new info and we'll have the whole picture. So do you think your new testimony will help? Absolutely. I don't know what I would have done without you, Athena. So Bum Rup Riney was in that courtroom when the bomb went off. Now that we know that, it changed the meaning of that other piece of evidence. All I have to do is present it at the right statement. Info update.
I was watching from the gallery with Bum Rap Riney. I tried to run, but it was too slow. Before I could get out of the courtroom, the bomb went off. I was startled. I was so startled I tripped. The rubble started falling. I thought it was done for. But then Apollo came and rescued me.
Okay, let's present the first statement. Oh, I cannot press. Okay, now we can see the plushie in our arms, and the tail. Yeah, the phony Fanty tail. Let's present that.
Objection!
Yeah. Miss Woods, I know this trial has been very hard for you, but you can relax now. You are, without a doubt, innocent.
Mr. Wright, what wild assertion are you making now?
My wild assertion is simply this. The two stuffed animals were mixed up. The tail the defendant's fingerprints were found on wasn't that of phony Fanty. It was the tail of her gallery companion, Bum Rap Riney.
Objection!
What? What nonsense is that? I can see they're both stuffed animals, yes, but they're completely different characters. An elephant and a rhino. They're as distinct as a defense lawyer and a prosecutor.
But are they really so different? Both defense lawyers and prosecutors strive to protect the peace through law. Even elephants and rhinos have some similar characteristics. They're both gray, for example. Anyway, this poster is all I need to prove my assertion to be true. If I may direct the court's attention here, you'll clearly see how the two got mixed up. I'm gonna go see the tail, so this is where you're gonna need story mode to
Take that!
Well, would you look at that? The two tails are exactly the same.
Yes, exactly. The two stuffed animals are based on entirely different animals, but the design of their tails is exactly the same. Ah! Toupee went backwards to reveal his receding hair.
Order! Order in the court! As long as the possibility exists that the tail belongs to Bum Rap Riney, we can no longer consider it to be decisive proof that the defendant handled the bomb. As things stand, I consider the charge against the accused unsubstantiated. Unsubstantiated. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Payne?
Oh, yes, of course, Your Honor.
Oh, that was great, Mr. Wright. You turned things right around.
Yeah, it's not over yet, but at least we managed to hold out this long.
I believe that brings our proceedings for today to a close. Mr. Payne, I'm afraid you have some serious investigating ahead of you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let us reconvene tomorrow. Court is adjourned.
December 17, 11:56 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby, number 5.
That was so exciting, boss. We did it.
Peace sign, happy widget.
True to form, you managed to just barely pull it off at the very last moment.
True to form. Gee, I never knew you had so much glowing opinion of me. Juniper,
Thank you for everything you're doing.
you did great, Miss Wood. You really stuck it out.
And you got really brave at the end, just when we needed you the most, Junie. Thanks to you, we were able to turn things around.
Well, you were the one who gave me that courage, Tina.
Really? Thanks. But be honest, was I any help at all?
She's stroking her hair with both hands. Of course. Without you, we would never gotten out of that tight spot.
That's good to hear. I may still have a lot to learn, but you can bet I'm going to give it my all. I'll be so good that one day you'll call me your partner.
That's what I would like to hear. Analytical psychology, the ability to solve the riddles of a person's heart. Atina's true potential is beginning to really shine through now.
Hey, where's Apollo anyway?
Probably in the hospital to tend to their wounds. Good question. I almost forgot about him. I assume he'd still be here in the lobby.
Oh, I know. Maybe he's still in courtroom number 4?
Courtroom number 4? What would he be doing there at the scene of the explosion?
When I came out of the lobby to rest, I told Apollo about Bum Rap Riney. I told him I dropped Riney in the courtroom and I was trying to escape before the blast. And then...
Is he gonna come back and fetch the teddy bear? Hey, don't mess with the scene of the crime!
Apollo said that he had an idea where Riney might be, so he went to take a look together. We went to take a look together.
Huh? I guess Apollo can be pretty nice when he wants to be.
So you were looking for Riney together before you were called back into courtroom number 5?
Yes. I had some time to rest, so I was able to go and look for him. But then they called me into courtroom number 5 to testify. Apollo insisted on staying there, though.
With all those injuries, I wonder how he's managing.
I think Apollo might have figured something out.
Wonder what it was.
He told me, I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper.
Just maybe he found some new piece of evidence.
Anyway, we'd better go and get him.
Good idea. So here's the debris. December 17, 12, 11 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Cutscene.
Where are you, Apollo? Trial's over for today. Come on, I know you're...
He collapsed?
No.
Yeah, he collapsed, fainted on the floor. Blood. There's blood on the rock. Did he get knocked out? Yep. Athena got a trauma. Trauma came back. He's not dead. To be continued. Oh my god. They're gonna leave it out like that. To be continued. Save your current progress. Do you want to save? Yes. Save complete. Episode 1, Turnabout Countdown, Trial Day 2, Trial Day 2. Continue on to the next chapter? Yes. December 18, 9:34 a.m. District Courtroom. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Phoenix This isn't exactly how I envisioned the second day of this trial to start. But given how things ended yesterday... Cookie? Okay. Half a cookie should be enough for now. Good morning. Athena, dot dot dot. Woods, dot dot dot. The mood sure is tense. Not that that's any surprise. Woods, dot dot dot. Athena, dot dot dot. Oh! Hey, did you read the paper this morning, boss? Huh? The paper? That came out of that field? You didn't read it? Then you don't know the big news. Somebody spotted an abominable snowman way up in the mountains. Tell me you know the difference between a paper and a tabloid, Athena. It might show up in the forest where you live, Junie. So you better watch out, okay? Woods, dot dot dot. Athena, dot dot dot. You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't even begin to do it justice. Justice? Huh? Apollo. Oh, poor Apollo. It's all my fault! Tina! Oh, Junie, what was I thinking? I'm so sorry. Okay, Widget shocked. Okay, yeah, what we found yesterday was not Apollo's dead body, thank goodness. He'd been assaulted by someone with a blow to his head and was lying unconscious. Somebody shoved him, hit him from the back with a rock. We rushed him to the hospital right away and it looked like he's going to pull through. But it was still quite a shock to stumble onto a scene like that. Is Miss Woods all right, Athena? Well, I managed to get her to stop crying. Now she's resting on that sofa over there. Guess she really feels responsible for what happened to Apollo. Poor Junie. She believes that the reason Apollo was attacked is because she was helping her look for something in that courtroom. Oh. Guess I can see why she would think that. By the way, how are you doing? Me? Yeah, you. I know you're concerned about Miss Woods, but are you alright? Me? I'm doing just fine, boss. Angry Widget. I mean, yeah, it was a huge shock, but I'm alright. People who study analytical psychology are great at times like these. After all, they've learned how to control their own emotions, too. Sad Widget. Peace sign. She's smiling, but her heart is betraying her. Somehow, I don't think it's easy as she makes it sound. But there's no denying she's a real trooper. Apollo doesn't remember a thing, does she? Does he? Yeah, he can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in courtroom number 4 or who assaulted him. The doctor said probably due to that hit he took to the head. Assaulted in the court of law and losing your memory at that. You know how that feels. Yeah. That happened to him during the second game. In Justice for All, we have to redo. He had to redo the tutorial. Like he forgot how to present evidence. Oh yeah, I was in the middle of a trial, then I got assaulted, and I forgot everything. What? But who in the world would do such a thing, huh, Mr. Wright? Grr, just wait until I get my hands on the coward who hurt our Apollo. Now, Athena, I thought you said you were in control of your emotions. Let's just focus on helping Miss Woods, okay? But I admit I'm just as upset as you. Okay, boss. You're right. Apollo's assailant can wait until after we clear Junie's name. That's the spirit. Now, let's see. Better check the court record one more time before the trial starts. Is there anything new? Oh. Yeah? Earth to Mr. Wright. I'm ready whenever you are. Alright, let's get ready to rumble. You bet.
Let's get ready to rumble!
With everything that happened with Apollo, I didn't have time for a proper investigation. I can't let that stop me, though. I have to get this right for Miss Wood's sake, and Apollo's too. December 18, 9:50 a.m., District Court. Courtroom number 5. Day 2, court is now in session. All rise. We see Apollo, no, we see Phoenix and Athena standing.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is also ready, Your Honor.
Now then, I believe I instructed the prosecution to further the investigation. Were you able to locate the remote switch in question?
I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor.
I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. Not angry, just disappointed.
I apologize, Your Honor. Aha! Looks like the prosecution is just as unprepared as I am. There is a separate matter, however, that I would like to bring up during this trial.
A separate matter, you say? And what might that be?
I assume you are aware that another incident occurred during yesterday's trial. I'm speaking, of course, of the assault on Mr. Justice in the ruins of courtroom number 4.
Uh-oh. Why is he bringing that up?
Yes, what a truly harrowing experience it must have been. Poor Mr. Justice.
At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods.
Oh my god, is he gonna claim that she bunked him on the head? He isn't going where I think he's going with this, is he?
Yeah, I just said that. The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Wood on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Rubble, 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 rubble.
Order! Order in the court! Mr. Payne, the incident under deliberation is the courtroom bombing. The assault of Mr. Justice has nothing to do with this trial.
But I believe there is a connection between this case and Mr. Justice's assault. Please take a moment to consider these facts. Both events occurred in courtroom number 4. This is the location in courtroom number 4 where the unconscious Mr. Justice was discovered. As you can see, it's quite close to where Detective Arm's body was found.
Whoop-de-doo, a big old 10 feet. Courtroom number 4 diagram added to the court record.
The question is, why did the culprit feel the need to maliciously attack Mr. Justice?
Why indeed? What do you believe their motive to be, Mr. Payne?
I believe Mr. Justice found something in that courtroom while Miss Wood was with him. Evidence that finger her as the perpetrator of the bombing.
You mean he found some incriminating evidence?
Precisely, and so I surmise that the defendant picked up a piece of rubble and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him.
Objection!
Junie would never do such a thing. She was devastated when we found Apollo hurt like that.
Miss Sack, please control your outbursts.
It is the prosecution's belief that by deliberating on Mr. Justice's assault, we will draw ever closer to the truth of the courtroom bombing itself.
Very well. Miss Wood is hereby officially indicted on the charge of assaulting Mr. Justice.
Boo! Our testimony mean nothing. We were there. What? Why are you listening to Mr. Toupee over there? Although, considering our conversation yesterday...
I think Apollo might have figured something out.
Wonder what it was.
He told me I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper.
Maybe the two incidents really are related after all.
I would like to start by hearing from the defendant herself.
Very well. Bailiff, Please bring Miss Woods to the witness stand.
The coughing is back.
I'm sorry. I can't seem to stop.
She's gonna need the sunflower again. She's gonna inhale from the sunflower. Yep. Miss Woods. Guess she's still really upset about Apollo.
Miss Woods, you went to the ruins of courtroom number 4 with Mr. Justice, did you not?
Yes, I did.
Good, good. If you would then, please testify about what happened to the court.
Witness testimony. Oh no, okay, I see where they're going with this. Like, they claim that she assaulted Mr. Justice before she came back. She was summoned by the bailiff to testify. And then we found the body. So that was her opportunity. It was not like she didn't assaulted him while we were going back and found, but it was before. Okay. Alone with Apollo.
During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing. Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom ruins together. But then I was called back to this courtroom to give testimony. Apollo insisted on staying behind in courtroom number 4. I swear I didn't attack Apollo. Why would I ever hurt such a kind person?
So Mr. Justice stayed by your side while you were feeling unwell. What an admirable young man. I thought his loud voice was his only outstanding feature.
He may look like a little imp at times, but Apollo can be really nice too. I hope she didn't hurt her wrist backhanding that one out. Yeah, backhand compliment. I hope she didn't hurt her wrist.
But one has to wonder, why did Mr. Justice stay behind in the ruins?
I think Apollo might have figured something out.
Something? What kind of something?
Something to do with the courtroom bombing kind of something, I think.
Oh ho! New evidence for the case, was it? That's a very big kind of something indeed.
Rubble.
I believe so. He mentioned looking for some evidence when I was called away.
Objection!
Just as I thought. There is a connection between the two incidents. But the defendant was told a very big lie, Your Honor.
What lie is that?
When she learned Mr. Justice would be looking for evidence, she attacked him. She attacked him to give herself the chance to destroy that evidence.
No! I never!
Objection!
Miss Woods repaid Mr. Justice's kindness with violence. We found the proof of her foul deed there in the courtroom ruins.
Okay. This is bullshit. I'm pretty sure that wasn't there. Like, he wrote Woods in blood. Like, W00. Oh. Hey, you know what? This could have been tampered evidence. Like WOODS, but this could be 110015. Let me check. Yeah. L10015. So the L and the 1 can be a W. And the second one could be a D. But he didn't have time to write it. Oh no! No. That's the other way around. Probably Justice found Arm's blood message where she wrote the idea number. And when he found out, he knocked out Apollo and used his blood to wrote Woods. To to cover his tracks. What on earth? So yeah, he got knocked out. He got knocked out, but before he faints, he's gonna use the blood from his back of the head. No, that's bullshit. A hit like that, you fall unconscious instantly.
Do you see it? There's in front of Mr. Justice right hand. Witness the message he left us.
It's written in blood. WOODS. Why isn't that?
That's right, Your Honor. It says Woods in capital letters.
What?
I submit that Mr. Justice left us with the name of his attacker before he fainted.
Apollo's assault photo added to the court record. Apollo is shown collapsed on the floor. The bloody writing is also visible.
No, that can't be true! Why would Apollo write my name?
Mr. Wright, the nerve of him leaving that message. Why would he do it? Hey, don't take it out on me. I don't understand it any more than you do. When we discovered Apollo yesterday... Apollo, there was no such message. Woods.
No!
Athena. Ah! We didn't even have a chance to rush over to him. As soon as security heard Athena scream, they ran in and cordoned off the area. Okay. After that, they were there in courtroom number 4 with Apollo the whole time. We couldn't investigate anything ourselves and had to leave everything to the police. Still, I never thought they would find some bloody writing there.
Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Alone with Apollo.
During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing.
Hold it!
You always cough when you get nervous, Miss Woods?
Yes. Like right now.
Mr. Wright, please do not make Miss Woods nervous by pressing her so ruthlessly.
That barely even qualifies as a quasi-question. Let's help her relax with a little small talk before we dive into the cross-examination. You know, ask her about her hobbies and her crushes and stuff. Her crushes? Really? I don't know about this.
Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom rooms together.
Hold it!
Why exactly did you go to the courtroom ruins?
We went to look for my medicine to stop my coughing.
Your medicine? Why would your medicine be in courtroom number 4?
I dropped it in the heat of the moment. Bum Rap Riney, he was keeping my medicine safe for me.
Oh, okay. So she probably has an asthma pump and she stuffed it inside her teddy bear. Her plush rhino.
He has a little compartment that I can put things in, you see.
Oh, and Phony Fenty has the same type of pocket. That's where the bomb was inserted.
I had put my medicine for my coughing fits inside Bum Rap Riney. When I told Apollo about it, he said he'd help me get look for him. There was so much rubble in there. I was worried, but there was no rubble or anything in front of the witness stand.
Yeah, for some reason the witness stand has been spared from the rubble. Yeah, we can see the woods, but the woods are written next to the witness stand, and this is quite far away from where Candace Arm's body was found.
So when we got inside, Apollo went straight there and started looking for my Riney in that area. It was so nice of him to do that for me, in spite of all his injuries.
Knitting, hearts.
Apollo is so strong and kind, just like the trees of the forest.
The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of an ancient god. I mean... Oh, wait. Yeah. He just realized, yeah, Apollo can be the name of an ancient god.
So that's why you went to the ruins, I see. That seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to the testimony, Miss Woods.
Apollo started looking for Bum Rep Riney near the witness stands where there was no rubble.
Hold it!
The area around the witness stand, are you sure about that?
I'm sorry, did I say something wrong?
No, of course not. I was just testing my hearing. Must not upset her. Must not upset her.
Yes, I'm sure that's where we search first. But then I was called back to this courtroom to give testimony.
Hold it!
That was when you were called to the stand after Mr. Donate's testimony, right?
Yes, the bailiff came to courtroom number 4 and brought me back to this courtroom.
And what about Mr. Justice? Did he come with you or did he stay behind?
Apollo insisted on staying behind in courtroom number 4.
Hold it!
I'd better not ask her about Apollo. I know, I'll use some small talk here to get her to relax a bit. Do you have any hobbies, Miss Woods?
Hobbies? Oh, well, I love growing vegetables in my garden. And I love to knit. I like sewing, too. I made this outfit myself.
Keep it up, Mr. Wright, it's working! Now ask her if she has a crush on anyone. So, is there anyone in particular you like right now?
Objection!
Mr. Wright, is that question even remotely related to this case?
To this case? Not really.
Mr. Wright, you will refrain from asking questions unrelated to the case at hand.
Sorry, Your Honor. -1 to brownie points.
Miss Woods, please continue with your testimony. I believe you were telling the court about your attack on Mr. Justice.
I swear I didn't attack Apollo. Why would I ever hurt such a kind person?
Hold it!
So, you think Mr. Justice is kind?
Yes, very kind. He rescued me. He's like the sun, strong and warm. He makes me feel strong too.
The only adjective I associate with the sun are sweltering and oppressive.
But then Apollo got hurt and it's all my fault!
Junie, Apollo's going to be fine. He's just like the sun, right? Well, the sun doesn't just drop out of the sky.
You really think he'll be fine?
But then the sun does go down at night.
Then that means Apollo could...
Mr. Payne, I do not think much of men who make young ladies cry.
Arrgh. So Apollo was trying to help Juniper. Who knew that Apollo could be such a sweetheart? It must be pretty hard on him too, with all that rubble everywhere. Now that I think about it, there's something odd about what Apollo was able to do. You know, considering what Miss Wood just said just now, I think you're right. That courtroom was in a very unusual state after all. Which leaves the million-dollar question. What would explain this contradiction? Anyway, let's see what happens when I present what I suspect is our answer. Okay, so the new testimony is a contradiction. Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom rooms together. Apollo started looking for Bum Rap Rainey near the witness stands where there was no rubble. Consult is on. Oh, okay. So after failing to present the correct evidence a few times during a cross-examination or similar segment, you will have the option to consult your partner for hints and help. Okay, so I cannot consult if I never fuck up. Oh. I'm gonna try this.
Objection!
So, he started his search with the witness stand, you say?
That's right. I guess maybe he wanted to start from the furthest point in the room. He was being so brave and strong.
But that's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that.
But he was, and he still is. He might not look it, but he really is brave and kind too.
Shake his head. No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. Hey. What you are claiming is something that no one should have been able to do.
But I should think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Wright.
True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. With the courtroom in this state, how was it possible to walk up to the witness stand?
Oh.
I see your point. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness stand.
Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it.
Ugh. Great, now I'm not sure it matters.
A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know.
But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best.
I call slander, Your Honor.
So, was it really impossible to approach a witness stand? I have to say it's a bit hard to tell with any accuracy just from this diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene?
Let me see, Your Honor. Yes, I have one more. Here it is. It's a more pulled-back version of the photo I presented before.
Okay, now we see there's Ted Tonate. There's Ted Tonate's transport case next to the body, next to the witness stand. There's some cracked rubble, but it's not like it's not manageable. Apollo's assault photo updated in the court record. Huh? What's that hunk of metal on wheels? Mr. Brain, is the metallic object in that photo Mr. Tonate's bomb transfer case?
That's right. Is there some problem?
Oh yes, that transport case was there in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. It must have been there ever since.
Oh, that's it.
Miss Woods, do you remember something?
Yes, I just realized. Its position. It's different from before.
Its position? The position of what?
The position of that big metal thing.
The bomb transport case?
Yes. When Apollo and I went there, it was in a different place. Where the case is in the photo was open space, so it was easy to search the stand.
I see. So where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it?
As I recall, I think it was more to the right.
Oh! The transport case was hiding the words. To the right. Then that means... In that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack. Okay, so Ted Tonate couldn't erase the bloody message left by the victim, so he hid the transport case on top of it. And now, when we realized that somebody was looking at the crime scene, probably Apollo, moved it away. And as soon as he was moving the case away, he got bonked on the head. And then the Ted Tonate used Apollo's blood and finger to write Woods on top of the serial number.
Who cares where the transfer case was when? What difference does it make? It has nothing at all to do with what we were talking about.
Objection!
Where the transfer case was has everything to do with this discussion. In fact, it's so important that it's enough to turn the prosecution's argument on its ear.
What?
Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack.
Yes, Your Honor. This diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transfer case was at the time of the assault on Mr. Justice. Alright, I have this. The bomb transfer case was here at the time of Apollo's attack. To the right.
Take that!
Your Honor, I assert that this is where the transfer case was at the time of the assault.
But that's...
Inconceivable!
Miss Woods, was this where the transfer case was when you saw it?
Well, yes! Yes, that's where it was!
Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position.
The transport case covers up the writing in blood.
Exactly. If the transport case was in that position at the time of the assault, then no message could have been written there because the case was in the way. Which leads us to conclude that Mr. Justice couldn't have left that bloody writing.
Objection!
Why should we believe the defendant's claim that the case was in a different position? She's obviously lying!
Objection!
The fact that the case was moved after the assault on Mr. Justice is proved by more than Miss Wood's testimony alone.
What? Where is this proof you're talking about?
It's right here in the crime photo.
I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright. What in this photo indicate the transport case was moved after the assault?
Oh, I see, there are tire marks. I just realized there are tire marks on the floor. Here?
Take that!
All the proof you'll need, Your Honor, is right here.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
Oh, come on! Mr. Wright, I'm sensing feelings of doubt from you. No! Which means you're just taking a wild stab in the dark, aren't you? Ouch, you're good. I bet you can also tell how I'm about to feel in a few seconds, too.
You just earned yourself a penalty.
If the transport case was moved after the assault, there should be some evidence of it. But I better take another good look at the photo. Come on! I was correct! Oh! No, the tire track goes underneath that piece of rubble right there. Is this what I should point?
Take that!
Oh, come on! No, come on. Oh! There's a piece of rubble missing over there. Is that it?
Take that!
Come on! I'm losing Wi-Fi. Oh, wait. I pressed there already, right? No, I press here, then I press here, then I press here. So the case was moved after Apollo fell unconscious because the tire track moved on top of the bandage right here.
Take that!
Please take a look at the mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandages here.
I see it, but what is it?
This mark was made by one of the caster from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. In other words, the transport case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice. Then, after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved. What? Just as Miss Wood said, the case was covering the writing at the time of the assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left that message in blood. No! Rubble. You did it, boss! It was a real nail biter, but you pulled it off. Yup, that should bring down the prosecution's claim like a house of cards.
Order! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction.
Aw, it was nothing, Your Honor. Nothing but pure genius. Take that! Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming off of you.
I have just one question, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
If Mr. Justice didn't leave this message in blood, then who did?
What? Pain ... Oh. Well, sweating bullets. Looks like I should have taken that train of thought through to the last station. Well, I've heard a lot about this. So this is Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it?
This feeling, it brings back memories of the old days. Back when you carved out a name for yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin.
Yeah, it's true, Your Honor. I was bullshitting my way through victory back then, but this is not one of these times. Gee, Mr. Wright, the judge kind of makes you sound no better than a 2-bit con man. You made your argument with such confidence, Mr. Wright. Now I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence. Hey, until the judge asked the question, you didn't catch on either, Buster. But what now, boss? I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way through this. I have to dig my way to the truth somehow. Who could have written that message in blood? The culprit, Apollo, or someone else? The culprit. If Apollo didn't leave that bloody writing, maybe it was Apollo's attacker who wrote it and made it look like Apollo did it? That seems like the most reasonable explanation. But wait a minute, I just realized something, boss. What is it? Look at the amount of blood in the photo. It doesn't look like Apollo bled very much. I wonder if it's even possible to write out wood with just this much. Hey, you're right. Good thing Apollo didn't lose that much blood. That might be a factor in why he survived the assault. And since there was so little blood, that pretty much rules out his attacker, huh? I guess so, but if it wasn't his attacker, then who else could it have been? Who could have written that message in blood? Okay, when they say the culprit, they're talking about Apollo's assailant. But when I say the culprit, it's the one who did the bombing. Because it's the same person. I'm gonna go with someone else. If it wasn't Apollo, who could have left the bloody message? I'm gonna go with Detonate.
Take that!
This person left the bloody writing? And what do you base this claim on?
Do I really need to base my claim on something? Yes! I can prove it! Just give me a chance, game.
Boss!
Of course you do. Don't tell me you don't have anything at all to back your assertion.
Nothing in particular, really?
That won't do, Mr. Wright, but a penalty will make up for your deficiency very nicely.
God! Erk! So it wasn't Apollo or his attacker when you think about who was at the crime scene. There's only one other person who it could really be. Oh yeah, wasn't there another person who shed blood at the crime scene? Oh, if it wasn't Apollo who left the bloody message. Ah, okay. Okay, that was my bad. I did a fuck up. I said it was Ted Tonate, but what I should have said was Candace Arm. Like, why would he blame himself? Because he's the suspect right now. So, Candace Arm left the message.
Take that!
To be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this. But I've come this far, there's no turning back now. Besides Apollo, there was one more person who shed blood at this crime scene.
A person who shed blood? You don't mean...
Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace Arm who left behind this message in blood.
What?
What? Detective Arm? Are you sure you know what you're doing here? Not really.
Objection!
What kind of ridiculous assertion is that? If you had said that the attacker left a message to throw people off, it might have made sense. At first glance, that would seem to be the most reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message. Uh-oh.
Ah, I see. Even the photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write all those letters. And Mr. Justice did survive. I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case.
But why would Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There's no connection between the two whatsoever.
And I didn't even know the lady who was killed.
I admit the investigation didn't turn up any connection between the victim and defendant. They had never even met each other. That's very true. Well, hello, Blind Pizza Guy. I'm so glad that you're here. I just started the first chapter of this new game, Dual Destinies. Basically, it's a terror bombing. Like, we were in the middle of a case, and then there was a bomb that was presented as evidence. And then the bomb squad specialists claimed that the bomb rearmed itself. So there was an evacuation to be held because they had less than 1 minute to get out. Actually, less than 15 seconds to get out. And the bomb exploded. There was some debris. Somebody died. Now, we're standing in the courtroom next to that one. So, everything happened inside of 3 days. So now we're having a trial about the murder of the detective who died in the courtroom, the neighboring courtroom. The prosecutor claims that it's a 18-year-old girl who had a grudge against a court trial because she was falsely accused and stuff like that. Like she had a motive to blow up the courtroom, and we're trying to defend her because that doesn't make any sense. And during the investigation, Apollo Justice was injured. Right now, it's Phoenix Wright and Athena Sykes. She's been part of the agency for 6 months. She has a minor on analytical psychology, and she has some gizmos that can... she has some hearing. She can hear people's heart. So she can perceive feelings.
So her job is basically find contradiction between what people are saying and what they're feeling at the time. And she created a matrix out of holographic images that she can activate with a digital glove, so we can pinpoint like which feelings contradicts the evidence. And like right now, Apollo Justice was assaulted, and we're trying to figure out who did it. And now the prosecutor claimed that it was the defendant again, like trying to similar to Daredevil. Yeah, but without being blind. Like she has acute hearing, but yeah, she can hear heartbeat. She can feel emotion, but that's pretty much it. Like she has, I think it's more like an empath, more like Mantis. But Mantis was a natural empath. It's not like it's like, yeah, it's a mix between Daredevil and Mantis, I would say. So yeah, that's her power, and like right now we're trying to prove that like she didn't knock down Apollo. There's a lot to cover up. You're probably gonna have to watch the first 2 hours of stream that you missed. But other than that, yeah, she's empathetic. Yeah. So yeah, Phoenix is leading the case, and he has Athena on the assist. Maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be.
The intended meaning?
This is Woods.
Not what it appears to be.
Maybe the message was not intended to be Woods. Dot dot dot.
Coming from you, that's quite a bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert that this bloody writing could have some other meaning?
Yes, Your Honor. For something I pull out of a wormhole, it could turn out to be true, alright?
Objection!
This is Gaspin Woods with the brother of Winston. No. Gaspin Payne, the younger brother of Winston Payne, who's out there like he's a rookie humiliator. He claims to be a gentleman, but he bullies defendants and defense attorneys. Like, he's not nice.
It clearly says Woods, as anyone can plainly see.
But the thing is, like, there's a bloody word that says Woods, but it could have been Apollo because he hasn't bled enough to produce that many letters. So we're saying that this bloody message was left there by the bombing victim who died from trauma back to the head by a flat object. So it could have been debris. Like, she could have wrote that message.
What other meaning could it possibly have?
Objection!
But Candace Arm was a detective. Maybe Woods only means something to the police. Like a police scanner code, for example.
I didn't think of that.
You may have tricked his honor, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. And there is no such radio code as Woods in this state, dear Mr. Wright.
Is that a fact?
Don't look at me, I know as much as you do about police codes.
Enough of this. I was quite taken with the defense new theory. But if they can't substantiate it with anything, then I must end things here.
No, please wait, Your Honor.
Very well, but before we discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what is the true meaning of the bloody writing?
Well, I believe it's...
And no stalling! If you can't come up with an answer quickly, I will declare this discussion officially over.
I'm in trouble now. What other meaning could it have besides the obvious one? Maybe it means something in another language, or maybe it's a code?
Think, Phoenix. You can do this.
This is my last point. I lost so many. Which piece of evidence will tell us what the word woods really means? I want to see the bomb transport case. Anyway, it just autosave. So if I screw up, I can reload the autosave. I'm gonna be fine.
Take that!
The bomb transport case? I've about had it up to here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Take a look at the numbers on this case, Your Honor. L10015R. Does this string looks vaguely similar?
L100? What does it have to do with anything?
What could those numbers possibly have to do with the case at hand?
Now please take a look at the bloody writing shown on the crime photo. Oh, I think I can see it. Yeah. So the W, the way it's been written, it could be hiding. The W can hide an L. Like the first half, the left half of the W could be an L. The right leg of the W could be a 1. All that you need to do is to put the end of the L, the tip end of the L, connected to the bottom 1 to make a W. L1 makes a W, and then we have 0, 0, and then 1. You make an arc to make a D, and the S could be a 5. Now, there's a piece of rubble that's been removed, but there's clearly something written in blood there, so the culprit must have removed the R. So there's a piece of rubble with the letter R on it that's been removed. That a girl, that's one on my side.
It says woods.
Or you could say it's a horse of a different color, Your Honor. The first character isn't a W, it's actually an L and a 1. The next twos are zeros.
Oh, my goodness!
The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't Mrs. Wood's name. It's the number engraved on his bomb transport case.
Objection!
What are you talking about? The next part doesn't make any sense.
The next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D.
Objection!
But the number on the case and the bloody writing can be made to match up quite easily. This is how the number of the transport case can be made to match the bloody writing. Erase one line, erase 2 lines, read it backwards. Okay, if we erase a line of the W, and if we erase the line of the D, yeah, erase 2 lines. Please erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved part of the D. L10015.
Well, would you look at that?
And then there's the R, like, piece of the R has been removed.
Lewis?
It's not Lewis, those are 1. Lewis. No, Your Honor. It isn't meant to be read as a word. It's the number L10015. Lewis. Which, if you take away the final R, it's the exact same number that's on the bomb transport case.
Objection!
Erase 2 lines and they match up, you say? Well, I can't change anything into anything else simply by erasing 2 lines. What if we erase 2 lines from your name? Would you be happy, Mr. Rye?
Well, would you, Mr. Rye?
The only right spelling is W-R-I-G-H-T. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here. I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective Arm's real message to us is the bomb transport case number. Your Honor, the 2 lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people.
What?
The original message Detective Arm left behind was the transport case number. But whoever assaulted the polo changed the message. If you're right, boss, then what do you suppose Detective Arm was trying to tell us? Good question. What does this number represent?
Do you see this number here?
This is a flashback of Detonate's testimony. So usually he's very energy effective. He's typing on the keyboard that made a digital voice, kind of like Stephen Hawking. He can't speak, but for him, typing it produced less energy than actually speaking. So when he testifying, he's gonna type it with his keyboard. But if he has both his hands busy, say like when he wants to disassemble or reassemble a bomb, he's gonna talk with his mouth. But right now I'm gonna use the robotic voice of his device. Yeah, the screen reader. Yeah.
Do you see this number here? That is my identification number.
Candace Arm lost her life in the courtroom bombing. Her dying message could only have one purpose. No. To tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing. Rubble.
Well, don't keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who she was trying to name.
The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than Ted Tonate, a police bomb specialist in charge of handling the bomb that exploded in the courtroom.
Take that!
The defense wishes to indict Mr. Ted Tonate on the charge of the courtroom bombing. Rubble.
Ted Tonate?
Apparently, disabling bombs isn't Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow, the victim must have realized that he was the bomber. So when she was caught in the blast, she left his bomb transport case number as her dying message. She used Mr. Tonate's own ID number to finger him for the crime.
Objection!
Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Wouldn't they simply write the person's name?
Well, they're not quite related. Like, if you don't know this police officer very well, you'll name him by his matricule. He's got a good point there.
What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright?
That only Detective Arm would know the answer to that, but allow me to offer a theory. Perhaps Detective Arm couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, this was the first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Or maybe using the ID number was a way to hide his true meaning from the real culprit, thus lowering the odds that they would have erased the bloody writing. But no matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains, she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number.
Objection!
Now, just one moment here. There hasn't been any proof yet that it was indeed Detective Arm who wrote it. The bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. If Detective Arm has left a message, it should have been found at the time.
No, the transfer case was on the message. He hid it. He couldn't erase it, so he hid it.
Objection!
Naturally, Mr. Tonate hid it before anyone could discover it. And there's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so. What? Mr. Tonate was able to cover the message because he's a stickler for details, the first to find the body, wearing those weird goggles. No! He was indeed the first to find the body. The first person to discover the bloody writing was Mr. Tonate himself.
I was the first person on the scene after the explosion. I went there to ensure safety, but I ended up discovering a dead body.
When Mr. Tonate saw that the victim had written his ID number, is to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Oh, that's why the message in blood was under the transport case. He didn't have enough time to try and scrub away the writing. If he didn't report the blood buddy right away, it would look suspicious. So those letters lived up to serve another function. When Mr. Tonate used them in another incident.
Oh, the assault on Mr. Justice!
Exactly. Mr. Tonate hit upon a plan to use the bloody writing for his own purposes. So he didn't clean it away. Instead, he made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it. By adding 2 lines to the writing
that Detective Arm left behind, he changed the meaning of the message. He made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Miss Woods of the attack. So that means the only person who could have altered the bloody writing was the courtroom bomber, who was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Tonate. Yeah! Rubble, 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 rubble.
Order! Order in the court! Order, I say! It looks like we will have to hear from the bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Tonate take the witness stand.
Yes, Your Honor. That was great, Mr. Wright. Just doing what I do best, which is flying by the seat of my pants.
Dismantling the case is yours. Do you think you can handle it? I look forward to see you try.
Okay, so that's what he meant by that. Yeah, the funny name in this game. Athena Sykes, Sykes, Ted Tonate instead of Detonate. And the defendant is Juniper Woods. And she's like, she has a coughing problem and she has a sunflower hat and she takes one of the flower to breathe through like a mask. Like, she doesn't have an inhaler, so she breathes through the sunflower. And then you have Candace Arms. I finally drawn Mr. Tonate back onto the witness stand. Looks like you'll get your wish, Goggle Man. Now watch me take your lies apart. Tonate, ...
Mr. Tonate, I'm afraid we have a few more questions for you.
I understand the situation, Your Honor. I was keeping a close eye on the proceedings from the gallery.
So what you hear right now is the zoom in and out of his goggles. He's looking around. Like, one of his lenses is blue and the other is red. They look like he's got 3D vision, you know? Like 3D goggles, but they're like night vision goggles. He's wearing bomb squad gear with a tactical helmet, a tactical bulletproof vest with the police insignia on it, and he has a replica of the bomb next to him. He loves to assemble and disassemble it, and he times himself up for that. He can disassemble a bomb in 5 seconds. Well, when he said disarm, it's basically dismantle.
The allegations are all laughable.
Objection!
I wouldn't be laughing if I were you, Mr. Tonate. The message in blood matches your ID number. The same ID number that is here on that bomb transfer case.
Such a far-fetched theory, no better than a tangled ball of wires.
Assemble? I'll have them untangled for you in no time at all. So this is his real voice. You were the first person on the scene after Detective Arm left her message in blood. You were the only one who could have hidden the wiring and then use it again later.
I see X2, but then let me ask you, do you have any proof that Detective Arm wrote that message?
That's a very good question. Well, do you, Mr. Wright?
The best way to prove that Detective Arm wrote that message is to analyze the handwriting or analyze the DNA. Yeah, if we analyze the DNA, we could see traces of Candace Arm and Apollo Justice. Your Honor, I request that a DNA test be performed on the blood itself. Once we know whose is it, it'll be obvious as to who wrote the message. No, wait, I think I made a mistake. If I analyze the DNA, we'll know where the blood came from, but not who wrote it. It's gonna be the handwriting. Shit.
Very well. Bailiff, please put in a request for a DNA test with the forensics team.
Yes, Your Honor.
It will be some time before we have the result of the analysis. Until then, let's hear more from the witness.
I would like nothing more, Your Honor. I want the court to hear how ridiculous the defense theory is.
I was thinking more likely the first message, first choice, analyze the handwriting because that's the only way you're going to be able to... Yeah. To tell by the slope of the hand. Yeah. After the explosion.
I admit I was there the first...
Oh.
I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion, but there was no bloody writing there at the time. Anyway, there is no way Detective Arm could have written it. She struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. She was too far away from where the bloody message was found.
He's got a point. So you're saying that the victim's body was nowhere near where the writing was?
Precisely. It is as plain as day that she could not have written it.
It's true that the body was discovered near the entrance of the courtroom. Please have a look at this crime scene photo. As you can see, there is blood on the rubble near the victim's body. But that rubble can be moved, right? Like, wait. This is a corner. Wait. Let me check the... No, not that. Yeah. Cause of death, trauma to back of the head caused by impact with a flat object. This piece of rubble suggests that the corner of the rubble hit her in the head. This is not flat. She must have died after hitting her head there. Courtroom bombing photo added to the court record. Crime scene photo of the aftermath of the courtroom number 4 bombing and the victim.
I see. All right then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Do you have what it takes to take my infallible testimony apart? I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion.
Hold it!
Why were you the first person on the scene?
To secure the area. It is regulation for a bomb disposal specialist to enter first.
In other words, you had the opportunity to alter the bloody writing then, didn't you?
Well...
Objection!
Mr. Wright, please don't interrupt. Mr. Tone is about to give testimony that will show just how wrong your reasoning is. Darn, I think he was just about to say something interesting too.
When I went in and saw the aftermath, well, it was quite the disaster. There was no bloody writing there at the time.
Hold it!
You were able to tell this even with those goggles on?
With these goggles, there is no way I could have missed something like that. I can see quite well with them. In fact, I can see everywhere on your spiky head. Oh, you have a few grays, Mr. Wright.
What? Poor Mr. Wright, you're always working so hard keeping our office together. Wait a minute, I don't have any gray hairs.
Just kidding.
Objection!
Ha, ha, ha.
I object to the witness attempt to prematurely give me gray hair.
Mr. Tone, this court frowns upon untoward comments on a person's hair or lack thereof.
Yes, bald judge. I'm sensing a great wave of sorrow coming from the judge.
My apologies, Your Honor. May I please continue my testimony? Anyway, there is no way Detective Arm could have written it.
Hold it!
If she didn't write it, then who do you propose did?
Mr. Justice, of course. Just before dying, he wrote the name of his attacker, Juniper Woods.
A final message from your poor subordinate.
Poor Mr. Justice, I'm starting to get all misty-eyed.
Apollo is not dead, folks. So how can you be so sure it wasn't Detective Arm who wrote the message?
It is very simple. She has struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance.
Now we see a picture of... Okay, I'm gonna save here. I'm gonna try and present evidence here. I'm quite sure myself. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I only have one life left. I'm gonna lose all my Wi-Fi if it doesn't work. So I have nothing yet left to lose. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the autopsy report.
Objection!
Yeah, it worked. You are a terrible liar, Mr. Tonate. ... Question mark. Take a look at this autopsy, specifically the part about Detective Arm's head injury. Cause of death, trauma to back of the head caused by impact with a flat object.
Yes? What about it?
Now take a good look at the bloody piece of rubble. It's sharp and pointed. Hey, you're right, boss. It is pointy. Just like your hair.
That is odd, isn't it? What could be the meaning of this contradiction?
I believe it means the victim did not hit her head on this piece of rubble. The blood stain you see is just another fabrication. Its purpose is to mislead us into thinking the victim died near the courtroom entrance. Rubble, 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 rubble. Outrage, rubble, rubble, rubble. Are you claiming the culprit moved the victim's body? That's exactly what I'm claiming. The victim hit her head at some other location, most likely on the floor or some other flat surface. And this location was somewhere near where the bloody writing was found. In that case, she definitely could have written the message. Your Honor, I have the result of the bloodstain analysis.
Ah, very good timing. Let's take a look. According to this report, the message was written in Detective Arm's blood. And as the defense claims, only the part of the message that were added afterwards were written in Mr. Justice's blood. It would appear that the defense assertion is correct after all.
Bloody writing analysis added to the court record. Okay, so it worked. Yes! You did it! You were right, boss! Now I have to drive it home. I'll have to take a good look at the bloody writing analysis later.
111.
Mr. Tonate, it is now apparent that you have told several lies to this court.
Yeah, somehow that worked.
I hope you have some explanation, some sort of explanation for yourself. ...
Fine, I will confess.
You will? But then, why are you so calm?
This time, I will tell the truth.
With this testimony, the truth.
It is true that Detective Arm wrote my ID number. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked. But I did not detonate the bomb. Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad.
I see. So, it is your assertion that you merely moved the body, is that it?
That is correct. I did not kill Detective Arm.
Oh, well, if that's all you did then... Wait a minute! That in and of itself is a criminal act!
glad to see you finally crossed the finish line, Your Honor.
Very well then. Your cross-examination, please, Mr. Wright. Make sure you get him good.
The truth.
Just shoot at Detective R from my ID number.
Okay, now it's picking up. So you admit that you actually did see the bloody writing at Detective R's left.
My bad. I should have said so from the outset.
And you are sure it was your ID number?
I am sure it was definitely my ID number. That number was assigned exclusively to me by the police department. The number is assigned to my goggles as well.
So those funky things were provided by the police department?
Although these are special goggles customized by me personally.
Speaking of personalized, these sunglasses of mine were custom made as well. They were specially created to be particularly dark and shiny.
Speaking of special, my gavel is made of mahogany and was custom made as well. It was specially created to make a particularly loud and resounding sound, like this.
Wish I had something to brag about. Be all that as it may, I just want to reconfirm that you saw the bloody writing clearly, and that it was your ID number.
That is correct. My ID number was written in blood on the floor. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked.
Hold it!
L10015R? And it was written after the bomb went off in the courtroom?
Correct. I didn't know why she would write it, so that sent me into a panic.
Sounds like you were in quite a tizzy.
If I were in his shoes, I guess it would have psyched me out too. I can't imagine coming across the message "Psychs" written in blood.
If I saw gasp and pain written in blood, it would certainly make me gasp. Rest assured, Mr. Donate, I understand how you must have felt.
And so you discover your ID number written in blood at the scene, and?
That is right. I saw it with my own eyes. It very clearly said L10015R. But I did not detonate the bomb.
Hold it!
Didn't you? The victim may have special knowledge of who the bomber was.
I have no idea what thoughts Detective R may have had inside her head.
It is not like I ever dismantled her mind to check. Mr. Wright, if you have suspicion about the witness, let's see your proof. Evidence is everything in a court of law. Even school children know that. How many years have you been a defense attorney now?
Cut me some slack with you. It's only been 2 years since Apollo Justice. I just got my bar exam. Don't feel bad, boss. You just got your attorney's badge back after all. In that sense, you're still more of a beginner than I am. Suppose I should be thankful you're not a licensed psychologist.
Mr. Donate, please continue with your testimony.
With pleasure. My ID number was left at the scene, but Detective R must have mistaken me for the real bomber.
Hold it!
By mistaken, do you mean you had nothing to do with the explosion?
That is correct. That is why I was so shocked when I saw my ID number.
The victim may have suspected for Mr. Tonate for no reason other than the fact that, as the bomb specialist, he was in charge of the bomb. In other words, a false accusation. It's vocational discrimination, I say.
I do not support discrimination of any kind.
Well spoken, Your Honor. If the victim had been found to be killed with a gavel, Mr. Blue Suit over there would have pinned the crime on you.
He would? Well, that just wouldn't do. Mr. Wright, if you dare try to bring anything on me, I will find you in contempt of court.
But I've never even tried to harm a hair on, I never tried to harm a strand of your beard, Your Honor.
Well said, Mr. Bade. Because I am so closely associated with bombs, I was afraid I would be prosecuted if anyone saw the bloody writing. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad.
Hold it!
You didn't think to clean away the bloody writing?
I didn't have time. By the time I found the message, the blood was already dry. The police were waiting just outside for me to secure the room. And I still have to move the body. I was in a panic.
Sweating bullets?
With no time to spare, I temporarily covered the writing with my case.
Didn't you think the police would find it during their investigation?
Regulation stipulates only specialists may touch transport case. Because of the danger, you see. I thought I would clean up the writing once they were finished. My bad.
My bad? Does he really think that will just magically smooth everything over? This guy's something else. And I don't believe Detective Arm's dying message was just some mistake. He won't wriggle out of this that easily. What did Mr. Tonate see when he first discovered the bloody writing? There has to be a contradiction in this testimony somewhere. I don't have any leeway. Let me check my evidence. I have a missing remote switch that started the time bomb countdown. It was stolen just before the blast and it's now missing. This is the case. Tonate has the only key. Diagram of the courtroom. It was when Apollo was discovered after the assault. DNA analysis definitely proved the blood of the victim to be that of the victim, Candace Arm, age 27. The lines that were added later were found to be written in the blood of Apollo, age 23. That's the blood analysis. Check again.
I don't know what it is about this game. I'm always so engaged. Yeah, it's an intriguing story. Let me check the log. I kind of wish that Apollo has his bracelet right now because that thing is kind of funky. Yeah! He still have the bracelet, but right now is in the hospital tending to his wounds. Like, he still have injury from the bombing, and he was trying to defend Juniper, but his wound reopened when he tried to will his way to get the defense. And then this is where Athena came in and said, okay, give me everything you got on the case, I'll be covering for you. So yeah, he was resting in the lobby, and this is why he decided to go back to the scene of the crime to find for more clues. And that's how he got bunked on the head. What does Mr. Tonate see when he first discovered the bloody writing? He said that he moved the body and he covered the writing. I don't know what to do. I'm on my last life. If I screw up, it's game over. I think I'll go with story mode. Just for this time. Just for this once. To see what am I supposed to... Because I cannot consult. Second statement. It's the second statement! She plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked.
Oh, wait! No. I still don't know. The bloody writing? Is that it? Oh, because I don't have the finger analysis. Maybe it would make more sense if I found, if I did the fingerprint analysis, the handwriting analysis instead. So, this one?
Objection!
Okay. I just want to make doubly sure that L10015R is really what you saw written in blood.
Yes, it very clearly said L10015R.
But that's odd, because that's not what I see.
Objection!
What on earth are you babbling on about now? Wasn't it you who claimed that the bloody writing was his ID number in the first place? Take a good look at the photo in the bloody writing analysis. Now, let's see. What does it really said L10015R? Oh, god damn it! Oh my god, like, I knew that already, but I didn't connect. No, because what they're going at is that if they found the word as is, so we assume that he removed a piece of rubble to hide the R, but we had to look at the evidence and look at it as it is. So the first thing that he would saw when he come into the room, if the picture that was taken represent how the court was made, is that you could only see L10015. The R is missing. So when he said all I did was hide the message and move the body, that's not true. Like, if he would hide the message, why removing the piece of rubble that says R? The answer is that he probably did it. My assumption is like he did it after, during the assault, when he was about to be found, he removed it, and that's when he did the modification. But this is like, there's no way for me that make the connection that something is missing, isn't it? And that something is the final R.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Tonate? ...
So I missed a piece of dialogue. It basically... Okay, it's only a reaction where we saw Ted Tonate biting at the wire of his bomb when he was angry. Tonate ...
Oh, right. Now I remember. There was no R on the end. It was just a slip of the finger. My bad.
Come back, my beautiful contradiction. Mr. Wright, I'm not sure it was just a simple slip of the finger. You have something for me, Athena? I sense that he's extremely agitated, almost panicked.
He does look pretty flustered. Yeah, he's binding the red wire of his replica bomb. He looks angry as well.
Well, Mr. Wright, it appears it was nothing more than a mere mistake.
I don't know. Did he really just made a typo? What about that R? Did Mr. Tonate really see it? He actually saw it. Maybe Mr. Tonate really did see the R. But there's no R anywhere in the bloody writing. What's going on here? Huh? Now that I take another good look at the photo, I think maybe... That's it! What is it now, Mr. Wright? Are you trying to imitate Apollo and his cord of steel? I've got it. So that's what happened. A slip of the finger. Is that really all it was? Because I don't think so. I propose that Mr. Tonate really did see the letter R. Exclamation mark.
But the photo clearly shows that there is no R.
No, Your Honor. Actually, just the opposite is true. The photo shows that Mr. Tonate actually could have seen the R.
If you're going to make that claim, then you better be able to point out what you mean. What part of the photo shows that Mr. Tonate could have seen the R?
This piece over there.
Take that!
Please look here to the right of the 5. Do you see a little bit of red?
Oh, I see it, just on the edge of where the floor is broken up.
That's the R that Mr. Tonate saw.
Objection!
It's true that the witness wears some very, very odd goggles. But that doesn't mean his eyesight is bad, nor his brain power. What part of that little smudge looks like an R to you?
Objection!
But what Mr. Tonate saw wasn't that little smudge. There was a whole incomplete R written there, before the floor was damaged by the explosion.
Oh, well, that explains it, huh?
You motherfucker. Okay. Now I understand where Phoenix is going with this. He's saying that the explosion didn't cause Candace's arm to die. He's saying that Ted Tonade murdered Candace's arm and blew up the courtroom to erase everything. Care to explain what you mean? Because you just proposed that everything happened in the exact opposite order. Yup, because that's the way it really went down. The timing of when the R was written turns everything about this case around. Now then, if the floor was damaged by the explosion, when was the message written? Before the explosion? With the bloody message running off the edge of the damaged floor like that, we can only conclude that it was written before the explosion.
But that's ridiculous!
If that were true, it overturns your own premise.
That's right, it does. In fact, it turns everything upside down. My bad. The victim was not killed by the explosion in the courtroom. She was killed before the explosion ever occurred!
Order! Order in the court!
What kind of preposterous claim is that? Have you forgotten that the victim's body was found at the scene of the explosion?
Objection!
True, but consider this scenario. She was hit on the head and killed before the explosion, or even before the trial began. Her body was subsequently placed in the courtroom ruins after the bombing occurred. That way could have made it look like she was a victim of the blast.
What?
It sounds like we had better look into what the victim was doing before the trial. Mr. Crane, did anyone see Detective Arm before the trial?
Let's see. According to the police report, here it is. One person saw the victim before the trial, and that person was Ted Tonate.
Wait, what?
No one beside Mr. Tonate saw the victim?
That appears to be the case, Your Honor. Sweating bullets.
Dot, 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 dot.
I would now ask the court to recall something. Specifically, Mr. Tonate's words from yesterday.
It was when Detective Arm and I were transporting the bomb.
Oh my!
Mr. Tonate, just before the trial, you were with the victim. The two of you were together at the scene of the crime, courtroom number 4.
Lewis Agum 7, it's 98, Agum 2 quick Shaw.
Your Honor, the defense requests new testimony from Mr. Tonate. We wish to hear what he has to say about his whereabouts just before the trial.
Mr. Tonate, your testimony, please.
My testimony, there is no need for what JC Pokush with Isra Brunei ZVA.
He's completely unnerved, Mr. Wright. You must have hit the nail on the head.
Because opt. All I did was transport the bomb to the 3 courtroom. I already told you, Po'ao to a Jojo Os Ausk.
Gah! Blast this thing! I was only in the courtroom with the victim because of your work, of our work. I swear I was only transporting the bomb there.
Objection!
You and the victim were alone together at the scene of the crime. In other words, you certainly had the opportunity to commit murder, did you not?
Objection!
Tisk, tisk, do you always leave yourself so open to attacks, Mr. Wright? What now, Mr. Payne? Yes, Mr. Tonate may have had the opportunity to kill Detective Arm, but an important piece of your assertion is missing. What important piece? The murder weapon. What do you claim was used to kill the victim?
Mr. Payne has a point. Even if Mr. Tonate has a chance, without a weapon, he can't accuse him of the crime.
Well, Mr. Tonate? Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't have any sort of thing that could be used as a murder weapon on me. Bullshit. You blew up the murder weapon, stupid. I couldn't possibly have killed Detective Arm. Did he really have nothing he could use as a murder weapon? What is it, Athena? Just looking over the victim's autopsy report. I'm hoping there's something in there that can point us to the right direction. Well, it does say that she died from trauma to the back of the head with a flat object. Yeah, and to inflict that specific kind of injury, all you would need is a flat surface, right? A heavy, blunt object with a flat surface could definitely be our murder weapon.
Well, Mr. Wright, can you indicate for the court what was used to kill Detective Arm?
I believe I can. Believe being the key word here. You can?
Then please do so now. What did Mr. Tonate have that could have been used as the murder weapon?
The bomb.
Take that!
Mr. Tonate, you say you didn't have anything that could be used as a weapon. But in fact, you had the perfect thing. What? What the devil are you talking about? You had this.
That's the bomb. I thought you were trying to prove that the victim wasn't killed by the bomb blast.
The bomb blast, no, but I believe Candace Arm was killed with this bomb. Because this is a blunt object that delivered the fatal blow to her head. Gah! Please recall the description of Detective Arm's head wound. Trauma to back of the head caused by impact with flat object. We assume this injury was sustained when her head hit the floor. But a blow from any flat side of this bomb would produce the exact same wound pattern. Gah! He's banging with the bomb. What's with him? Then show me some proof. Where's the evidence that I hit the victim with the bomb? He's right. I don't have anything decisive. Did you find any of the victim's blood on the bomb? That would be decisive proof. But too bad, the bomb is blown to bits. It's long gone. Boom! Game over. Yeah. Mr. Wright, is there nothing on the bomb in the photo? Oh, the cracked timer. I don't see any blood or anything. Wait, the timer display is broken here. Maybe it broke when he made contact with Detective's arm's head. That's definitely a distinct possibility. But unless we find a fragment with the victim's blood on it, it's not going to count. I guess you're right. By setting off the bomb, Tony managed to obliterate all traces of the murder weapon. What in the world do I do now? At times like this, I've got to change gears and look at things in a different way. Instead of looking for the things that he wasn't able to hide, I should be looking for a way to expose the thing he did hide. Ted Toney murdered Detective Arm before the trial started. Then he placed her body in the courtroom after the bomb went off. Which means there was something he needed to keep hidden until then. The remote. Huh? And I think I have just the thing. Time to present the photo that shows exactly what Mr. Toney had to hide. Yeah, the remote is still missing. Oh, if we found the remote, we might find Ted Toney's fingerprints. Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Take that!
Your Honor, please take a look at this. Oh my god, it's not it. The fact that Mr. Toney did this makes it decisive evidence for my case.
I'm not sure I really understand what you mean by that, Mr. Wright.
I'm not sure either, Your Honor.
Me either.
Here's a penalty to inspire you to make more comprehensible assertion in the future.
And I'm dead.
That's enough! I see no need to further prolong...
Oh, why am I talking like this?
I see no need to further prolong this trial. The defense case is insufficient to overturn the prosecution's claim. This court finds the defendant, Juniper Woods, guilty!
And the door closed. Guilty! Retry from this scene, resume a save game, return to games... Okay. Retry from this scene? Okay. Ted Toney murdered Detective Arm before the trial started. Then he placed her body in the courtroom after the bomb went off, which means it was something he needed to keep hidden until then. And I think I have just the thing. I got my health back? This is easier! I can try as many times as I want, because if I mess up, I'll just come back at that very same moment with my full health. So it wasn't the remote, it's the transport case, I think.
Take that!
No. Well, that was a spectacular belly flop, but I can't back down now. I better reconsider what Mr. Toney could have hidden. Ted Toney murdered Detective Arm before the trial started. He placed her body in the courtroom after the bomb went off. There was something he needed to keep hidden until then.
Expose the thing that he hid. We're gonna see the bombing photo.
Take that!
Your Honor, there's something we've been all over. Oh, Your Honor, there's something we've all been overlooking. If the murder took place before the trial, then Mr. Tonate would have had to hide the body somewhere during the trial. Hey, you're right. And if we can figure out where that hiding place was, exactly, we might all be able to find some evidence we can pin him down with. So where could Mr. Tonate have hidden the body during the trial? Inside his transport case.
Take that!
Wait, a box big enough for a body. A box that was in the courtroom the whole time. When I presented the box, that's what I was going for. Oh no, they wanted to present the photo of the body and then... Okay. Okay. I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay. A box big enough for a body. A box that was in the courtroom the whole time. A box nobody would touch if they thought there was a bomb in it. Mr. Tonate!
What is it? Do you finally have some decisive evidence to show me?
No, you're the one who's going to show it to me.
Come again.
You heard me. Show me what's inside the bomb transport case.
What?
What? Why? No, there's no need. I've got him now. Just before the trial, you killed the victim with a blunt object. And then, you placed her body in the ruins of the courtroom after the bomb went off. Clearly, you were trying to make it look like she died in the explosion. But where was the body hidden during the trial?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
The answer is right here. Inside a box made of thick alloy plating that can withstand any impact. No, that's completely false. If it's false, you should have no objection to showing us your transport case. So, let's open it up and take a look inside, shall we? Hold it. He said hold it. ...
Let's not. Not if you value your life.
What's he up to now?
Remain calm and listen carefully. This bomb will detonate in 5 minutes.
What?
Huh?
I repeat, this HH-3000 will detonate in 5 minutes.
What's going on now?
Your Honor, I recommend you adjourn this trial.
You can't do this. You're threatening the a case with a bomb?
Before this bomb goes off...
Mr. Tonate, are you threatening me?
Hey. I am the only one who can disable this bomb. If you do not want to die, your only option is to listen to me.
But Mr. Tonate, didn't you say that's just a training model? A fake to practice on?
I did, but I also lied. This is the real deal. This is the HH-3000.
But the HH-3000 was used to blow up courtroom number 4, wasn't it?
How do you know it was the real HH-3000 that blew up courtroom number 4? The bomb that blew up the courtroom was a different one. one that I made.
What? Are we to take that as a confession on your part?
Take it any way you would like. Just before the trial, I took the HH3000 out of the stuffed animal and put my own bomb into it. That was the bomb that exploded and destroyed courtroom number 4.
Mr. Tony, please be reasonable. Do you really expect us to believe a crazy story like that?
The HH3000, it is so unique. I had never seen anything like it. It is so unique that I could not replicate the detonation mechanism. So I just have to have it. Besides, did anyone look inside the stuffed animal during the trial? Did anyone check to see if it really was the HH3000 in there?
Exclamation mark.
I must confess, no one opened the stuffed animal to check.
So there really is a possibility that the bomb was switched out.
No, not a possibility, a certainty. I did it.
So he's had a real bomb with him this whole time?
You had better get out of here while you can. You do not have much time.
Rabble, 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 rabble.
Order! Order in the court!
I'm out of here! It's gonna blow! Run!
Run away!
The panic in the crowd.
You 4 are still here? Well, well, aren't you brave?
It just wouldn't do for the judge presiding over this court to run. But that horrible explosion the other day...
The judge looks like he's about to book it for the nearest exit any second. As for Mr. Payne... that is... And he's leaving. And he's off.
Mr. Wright, what do we do?
It'd be pretty pathetic to run now, wouldn't it?
But the bomb might really go off.
Only 3 more minutes, folks.
He shows the timer. Is that bomb really the HH3000? What should I do? Run like a yellow-bellied chicken or stand my ground? I can't run now.
Well, it's been fun, but I will be going now. With my dear HH3000, naturally. Oh, and by the way, I would advise against having me followed. Even with no remote switch, this bomb can still be triggered manually. If I think I'm being followed, I will detonate it on the spot. Farewell.
Hold it!
You're not going anywhere, Detonate.
Oh,
Your Honor, there's no reason to be afraid. That bomb's a fake. Exclamation mark.
Are you sure, Mr. Wright? ...
More of your famous bluffing, even at the risk of your own life.
Mr. Wright, none of your bluffing now, not at a time like this. Lives on the line here.
I'm not bluffing, and I have proof.
You do?
Yes, of course, Your Honor. It's right here in the photo of the bomb, clear as day. Proof that Mr. Tone bomb is not the real HH3000.
Really? Out with it then, immediately. Where's the proof that Mr. Tonate is not the real HH3000?
The broken screen?
Take that!
The display for the timer on the bomb in the photo is broken. Most likely, it broke when Mr. Tonate used the bomb to attack Detective Arm. But the display on the bomb in front of us is not broken.
Oh, you're right.
Therefore, this is not the real HH3000. Mr. Tonate was clearly lying when he said he switched out the bomb in the stuffed animal. The real HH3000 blew up courtroom number 4. This bomb is nothing more than a fake, a model used for training purposes. Gah! Fear not, Your Honor. I will examine the inside of the bomb transport case myself.
Yes, please do that, Mr. Wright.
No, stop! Blood.
What is that? Is that a blood stain?
Just as I expected. Your lies have all been blown to bits, Mr. Tonate. I'm confident DNA analysis on this bloodstain will confirm that it's Detective Arm's blood. And that those results will conclusively prove that you murdered Detective Arm. How about it, Mr. Tonate? Think you can dismantle this decisive evidence? He changed the angle and then he points, just like in Greatest Attorney. This is the final pointing finger. He's gonna break down. Dismantle it. Ha 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 ha! You're too late! You missed your chance to run, so now you're out of time! This H3000 is about to explode! Don't try to threaten us, Mr. Stonehate. I've already proved that your bomb is a fake. It's real! This bomb is a real thing, I tell you! It's real! Ha 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 ha! Hee 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 hee! Ha 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 ha! He laughed like a madman. Mad bomber, party of one. There's no time left, it's going to blow. I have to disarm it, I have to take it apart. I can dismantle anything! I can take apart evidence, I can take apart bombs, I can dismantle it all! Dismantle, 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 dismantle. Fighting up the wire. I'm not gonna make it, only one step to do. Stop! He broke it with his head. So, for some reason, he extended his vision goggles and he smashed with it. That broke his lens. Made it! 2 seconds left. Then his face blew up. The goggles blew up. Game over. Dismantle attempt failed. So the bomb was not dismantled. The timer continued. And then it went to 0. And then it says that it was a fake.
It's all over. My life has been blown to pieces. It's all that stupid woman's fault. I was selling the bomb I disarmed on the black market. When I tried to take this one, she just had to notice, didn't she?
She confronted me in courtroom number 4 that day. That's why I had no choice. He took the bomb and then smacked her on the back of the head with it. Before I knew what I was doing, I hit her. It's all her fault. While I was looking for a place to hide her body, she left a message in her own blood. The trial was about to start, so I didn't have time to clean it up, and now all this. I thought for sure I could disguise her death with an explosion. Then that stupid defense attorney started sticking his nose into my business. Through my testimony yesterday, I went to courtroom number 4, and I found that kid all up in my bomb transfer case. That's when I snuck up behind him, and BAM! And when the idiot police arrested that little girl, I thought for sure I could pin it all on her. Why? Oh, why?
Ted Tonate, you are hereby under arrest. On suspicion of the courtroom bombing and the assault of Mr. Justice, and the murder of Candace Arm. Your innocence or guilt will be determined at a later trial. Now then, I see that members of the public have returned to the gallery.
Okay, now they're back. Is it over?
One person, however, seemed to still be running far from away.
Which is Prosecutor Payne.
Be that as it may, I will now announce Miss Juniper Wood's verdict. Not guilty! Confetti!
She smiles. We see Phoenix and Athena smiling, and the prosecutor, nobody to be there.
Court is adjourned.
December 18, 12:31 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 5.
You did it, boss!
Yeah, I guess we managed to pull it off somehow. So many mystery cleared up all at once. It was amazing. It just sort of worked out that way, didn't it?
That's not the kind of thing that usually just works out. You made it happen. And the way that mean old prosecutor hightailed it out of here, that was great.
Mr. Wright, Tina, thank you for everything you did for me.
I'm so happy for you, Junie. Now you can go back home into the forest in peace.
I hope the both of you will come visit me there sometimes.
That would be nice. Thank you for the invitation.
I don't know, Mr. Wright. I'm not so sure you could make it all the way up to Junie's house. How high up do you live again, Junie?
Around 3,000 feet, I think.
What? That's no forest, that's a mountain. But you know, boss, there's something that still bothers me about the case. One little mystery we never got around to solving.
Oh, that? Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Is this the unsolved mystery you're thinking of? The missing remote?
Take that!
The remote switch, right?
Yeah, I wonder where it disappeared to. Maybe Mr. Tone just got rid of it somewhere?
Yeah, it is a pretty big thing to leave unsolved though.
Well, let's leave it up to the police to find.
For now, we should be celebrating our not guilty verdict.
Guess you're right. Hey, I know. Junie, shall we go report the good news? You know, to that certain someone.
Okay.
Huh? Our grandmother?
No, silly! To Apollo!
Oh, right. Well, why don't we all go to the hospital together to see him?
Great idea! I bet he's bored out of his mind.
Okay.
And so the courtroom bombing case came to a close. But the next trial was just over the horizon. There's never a dull moment with so many lawyers in the office, that's for sure. Apollo Justice, Athena Psyche, and me, Phoenix Wright. Between the three of us, there's no case we cannot solve. When our powers combine, we're an unstoppable team. At least, that's what I believed. Cutscene? But all of that changed with what Apollo said to us that day. Is he gonna quit? It was something that would put my faith in us to the ultimate test. Date, question mark, time, question mark, write anything, agency. Yeah, cutscene. Still injured?
Sorry, but I'll be taking a leave of absence.
Wait, what do you mean by a leave?
Can you at least give me a reason why?
I can only say that this is something I must settle on my own.
Trucy looks at him and they leave. Then we look at the debris of courtroom number 4. Athena Sykes is there. She's
Why,
sad.
Apollo?
Widget
Why
is
are you
sad.
shutting us out?
She's crying.
What happened to you, Apollo?
An image of him in black and white.
Ever since you put that jacket on, you've changed. ... And now, for whatever reason, all my mind keeps doing is returning to the day I first met you.
We had tackled our first case together, he and I, this past spring. And as we did, I came to know who he is and how he thinks. It was a very peculiar case, one in which the victim was killed by a mythical creature. End of chapter 1, and we see the image of the trial. Save your current progress? Yes.